Sorry for any technical difficulties, but welcome in to Game 2 of the Valley Baseball League Championship Series right here from Cho Airport Field at the site of Charlottesville High School. We are in what is now the bottom of the first inning here after a scoreless frame was put up by Brandon Eldridge, the Tom Sox starter, on the mound for today. Let's take a look at some of the stuff that Brandon Eldridge has. I am Jeremy Rose, joined alongside by my co-commentator and color broadcast. Wow, I can't even speak right now. Daniel Stein, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. You know, it's been a frustrating last couple of minutes, but, you know, it's a time to reset. The Tom Sox were able to get out of the first inning unscathed, and Brandon Eldridge put in some good work.
And, yeah, looking at Brandon Eldridge today, never mind, we will not look at Brandon Eldridge for today, but we can talk about him nonetheless. Daniel, what do we have on Eldridge?
So this is a guy who's made one start in the playoff game. He played against Waynesboro where he absolutely shoved. He went 6 innings, 3 hits only allowed, 1 run allowed. And the regular season, this is what he's been doing, too. He's been a really good kind of versatile arm for the Tom Sox this season with a 4.50 ERA. But what I'm really interested to see is how will this offense do? They put up 11 runs yesterday. Do they still have the juice here in a game that they absolutely need to win?
And we will take a look at the full lineup in a moment, but in the leadoff spot it will be North Carolina's Perry Hargett, who has solidified himself in the leadoff spot all season long since he has showed up here in just about mid-June and has been a consistent spot at the top of the order. A whole lot of hard-hit baseballs over the past couple of days, and things just really have not gone his way. The first pitch Hargett sees, he will foul off of the mitt of Logan Duff behind home plate for strike 1.
Yeah, he did have a double yesterday in Strasburg, but he also had, I want to say, at least 2, maybe even 3 lineouts. It was a really tough game for Hargett, but you can see why Randy puts him at the top of the lineup. He's a guy who barrels pretty much every single ball he puts in play.
Everything's pretty hard hit off the bat of Perry Hargett. The 0-1 pitch on the outside for a called strike 2. Shout out to the Hargett family. I know you guys are tuning in, so sorry for the technical difficulties. We're glad to have you along the ride for VBL Championship Game 2. The Sox fell 1-0 last night on a walk-off winner in a 4-hour, 10-inning affair in Strasburg. The 0-2 pitch to Hargett into right field. Perry Hargett's got a leadoff single, and maybe, just maybe, today is the day his fortune starts to turn.
This is really the promise that Perry Hargett provides as a potential MLB draft prospect down the line. His ability to find barrels to all parts of the field. He's more of a pull hitter, as a lot of hitters are, but he's able to find the space between second and first, and the Tom Sox have their leadoff man on.
And we'll mention the guy at the plate a little bit more once we bring up our lineup card, but it's Kyle Langley up in the 2 spot, and nobody yesterday was hotter than Kyle Langley at the plate.
Yeah, Langley, that 3-run home run. He also had another RBI on a ground out yesterday. He's one of the most experienced players on the team, and he's really shown that down the stretch, just providing that steady hand early in the lineup.
Took a first pitch for called strike 1. Now faces an 0-1 count. Here's a pickoff over to first. Back in time is Perry Hargett on the mound. It will be Dawson Coe, the formerly Kennesaw State, then former Chippewa College, and now current Georgia Southern student in Dawson Coe has yet to play at the collegiate level as a rising senior, just hasn't found a home that's going to give him some playing time. Maybe his fortune will change this time around. He's ahead 0-1 now. Langley squares to bunt, fouls it off of himself in the box for strike 2. Down the rest of the Tom Sox order, we're sorry our graphics are not exactly working. We faced the technical difficulties earlier, and now they're going to plague us once more right here. But it's Kyle Langley in the 2 spot. Jackson Soroy will bat third and play short. Brock Clayton in the 4 spot. He will be doing the catching today. Patrick Neas over at third base. Hudson Luderman at first. Tanner Shadle in the 7 spot. He'll be DHing today. Will Genowine, the left fielder, batting 8th. And rounding out the order, it's Lee Sowers at 2nd. The 0-2 pitch, Hargett takes off. He's there in time. The throw goes high, and it's a ball, so an easy stolen bag for Perry Hargett. And a 1-2 count now on Kyle Langley.
Tom Sox showing some aggression on the bases early. It's his 2nd stolen bag of the playoffs, and he had 13 in the regular season.
And talking to his mom yesterday, said he was actually really bad on first base with lefties on the mound. So said they were always excited when he gets on base, but then he has to face a lefty, and he's apparently not great at reading the pickoff moves, but did a good job right there, and he's now on second base. The 1-2 count from Coe into Kyle Langley on the ground towards the right side. It'll move Hargett over to third. Can Langley beat the run to first? No, he cannot. Landon Beaver wins the race for out number 1, but Perry Hargett's on third with 1 down. To set the...
This is just what Kyle Langley does, right? He puts the ball in play a lot, and these are the little things that the Tom Sox need to execute today. We'll talk about them in our keys to the game later on, but part of it is smart base running, situational hitting, which are both strengths of the Tom Sox all season long.
Yeah, and Jackson Soroy, a guy who obviously had the walk-off that sent the Sox into the VBL championship after another very long ball game that you and I got to call. 9:15 first pitch. That one concluded at, was it 10 minutes after 1 in the morning? So a lovely late night affair, 12 innings of baseball, and maybe right back for some more here. The first pitch to Soroy on the ground, blocked up nicely by Logan Duff. We will now take this time to set the rest of the defense for Strasburg. So Duff behind the plate, Landon Beaver, who just recently made the 3 unassisted, put out over at first. Eddie Castillo at second. Brady Bowles over at short. Brooks Henderson on the hot corner from left to right in the outfield. Jake McCarter, Jay Douglas, and Paul Osting. Soroy's ahead 1-0. The 1-1 pitch called, fastball on the outside. And it's Landon Rochelo Schultheis who will be doing the umpiring behind the plate today. And a zone the Sox are pretty familiar with. He did umpire that game just a couple of days ago here. 1-1 to Jackson Soroy. In the air towards short. It's off the glove of Brady Bowles, but it's going to hold Perry Hargett at third, who obviously had to freeze on the liner, and that's going to be an infield single for Jackson Soroy. No run comes across on the play, but it puts 2 runners on base for Brock Clayton.
Well, anytime the Tom Sox have seen a line drive to the shortstop, it feels kind of like a bad flashback. That happened to Perry Hargett in the 9th inning of the Culpeper game right here at Cho. But good job by Soroy here, able to leg that one out. Hargett unable to score, but now it's up to Clayton here to try to get something in the air to get Hargett home.
Runners on the corners. Soroy off of first, Hargett off of third. The first pitch, lefty-lefty to Brock Clayton. He'll cut through it for strike 1. And Brock Clayton, a guy who had a rough start to the year, but he had the bat that, we've been looking for all season, and it finally came alive down the stretch and come playoff time.
Yeah, his average has only gotten up, and, a 255 mark right before the playoffs, a really good start for him as we enter crunch time here.
Yeah, picked up some big extra base hits, a home run out in Culpeper in what was a meaningless game, but still good for his own personal momentum heading into the playoffs. Count is even 1-1. Coe will make a pickoff over to first. Had Soroy leaning. The move wasn't fast enough, and Jackson's back in safely.
Yeah, this is something I'll be interested to see. We mentioned the base running earlier, but this is the kind of situation you'd expect to see Soroy go. I would be very surprised if Strasburg has the trust in their catcher Duff to throw down to second, even with that runner on third.
What will happen on the 1-1? Coe kicks and fires. Soroy does not go, and it's fouled straight back from Brock Clayton, 1-2. So for Dawson Coe, through the course of this season, it's been not a bumpy ride, but definitely interesting to see him getting his first bits of action here at the collegiate level. Just 17 innings pitched on the season and a 4.5 ERA. His 1-2 to Brock Clayton on the outside, blocked up nicely by Logan Duff. Clayton will hold up, and now we're even at 2-2.
Yeah, he's been a guy who's been very consistent throughout the year. He hasn't pitched more than 3 innings in a game, but he also hasn't allowed an earned run since July 3rd. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he performs with only 17 innings of throwing this season here for Strasburg, and really not any experience at the collegiate level.
What does he have on the 2-2? Swing and a miss from Brock Clayton for out number 2. Waves on the outside slider. And that will bring Pat Neas up to the plate with 2 down.
It's a wicked slider there out of the left hand of Coe, and lefty-lefty tailing to the outside is always going to be tough for any hitter, but Clayton, the strikeout has been kind of the bane of his season so far, and as good as he's been recently, not able to put one in play there.
And unfortunately, a guy who's been plagued by the strikeout in Patrick Neas at the dish, but he's been clutch whenever it needs. The first pitch gets away from Duff, and coming to slide in safely is Perry Hargett. The Sox are on the board. They lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the first on the wild pitch.
Good job there from Perry using his speed there. And this is, I think, the biggest difference here with Strasburg now at the Cho is it's a lot deeper of a backstop here, and it's not going to bounce off the wall like it does at First Bank Park up in Strasburg. And we've talked about, before we get on the broadcast, about how the Express have a very clear home field advantage. It's a short park where they hit a lot of power, and it's just a very small field compared to Cho Airport Field. And this is what the Tom Sox need to do to win this game. They need to have smart base running and take advantage of mistakes from the Express.
Yeah, and not just the small backstop, is also these pitchers who haven't really thrown off a mound like this before out in Strasburg. if you guys were watching their stream or not, the mound at Strasburg is the maybe second steepest in the VBL behind, I believe Purcellville has a potentially steeper mound, but a whole lot of leverage coming down the mound. Then you get a very, very flat mound here at the Cho. The pitch inside to Pat Neas. Soroy will take third with ease, and it's now 2-0.
Mark that down as another wild pitch, but you're right. The mound over at Fireman's Field in Purcellville is kind of like throwing off the Grand Canyon. It is like every pitcher throws 3 miles an hour faster than they would at the Cho.
And saw that in action last night as well. Saw some guys succeed with it in Saxon Roberts and some guys who maybe kind of didn't adjust to the mound as well. A guy like Lane Duff who kind of struggled in his inning of work. The 2-0 downstairs, and Pat Neas in the driver's seat here, 3-0 with 2 down. So the Sox have pushed a run across on the board already. And Jackson Soroy 90 feet away to try to add on to this lead. Coe kicks and fires the 3-0. It's a called strike. Now 3-1. And with the lefty and Coe on the mound, we'll see how often he attacks that outside fastball to righties. He attacked it against Hargett. Hargett went the other way with it. Throws one there to Neas. It's going to be a spot that's going to get called all day long. The 3-1 fouled away. Now will run full.
Now, the more he throws that outside fastball, the more hopeful I am, because Neas, something he's really done as the season has gone on is start to hit the ball to all parts of the field. At the beginning of the year, he was very pull-happy. Now he's started to go up the middle and to the opposite. So if he gets another one on the outside half, let's see if he can take it to right.
Coe's full count delivery into center field. Does it have enough on it? It does for Jay Douglas to come in and make the play for out number 3. Hung up in the setting sun air, and we will head to the second inning with the Tom Sox now ahead 1-0. Perry Hargett comes across to score the first run of the game. We'll see you in the second. The top of the second inning with Brandon Eldridge, the new Gardner Webb Bulldog, on the mound for Charlottesville. He worked a pretty efficient inning, gave up a pair of base runners after a 6-3 put out to the leadoff batter and Brady Bowles. Then Paul Osting hit a single into right, moved up on a wild pitch. This first pitch into Brett Mosley is a called strike. Eddie Castillo worked a walk from the 3 spot. Then Landon Beaver and Jake McCarter both flew out to the left side. So it'll now be the 6-hole hitter in Brett Mosley, then Jay Douglas to follow, Logan Duff in the 8, and Brooks Henderson to round out their order. 0-1 pitch upstairs, and this might just be the most dangerous 6-hole hitter in the game.
Yeah, Brett Mosley, any guy from Ole Miss in the Valley League is going to kind of stick out a bit. The fact that he's hitting so far down in the order really doesn't do him justice. 5 home runs on the season, 18 RBIs. He had an additional one in the playoffs.
Into center field, ranging back is Kyle Langley. Does he have another right here? Langley leaps at the fence, and he makes the play against the wall for out number 1. Not sure if it was a robbery, but one heck of a play from Kyle Langley in center.
I was afraid that the announcer's jinx was going to get me, but this one was so close. I'm not sure if Langley's hand ever hit the wall here, but it can be really difficult to field because nobody ever hits the ball out to center field unless you're Brett Mosley. He had a home run that was very similar to like this earlier in the season. Nice job there by Kyle bringing that one in.
Strasburg team that put up 14 runs the last time they were here, but they faced a very, very different Tom Sock squad when they were out here just in the middle of June. Now Jay Douglas at the dish. 1-0 pitch is a called strike to even up the count. And Jay Douglas this year, another guy who realistically would hit a lot higher in a lot of other teams' orders. Takes that one called strike 2.
Yeah, at Eastern Kentucky, the product from Eastern Kentucky, he's been really solid in his 23 games. A .338 average, 9 RBIs, 4 doubles as well.
He faces a 1-2 hole here. Eldridge kicks and fires, goes to the slider. Douglas does a nice job to lay off of it, even at 2-2. And obviously, a lot of these guys benefit from being in their, or from playing in their home ballpark. Playing a lot of games out there does definitely benefit the majority of their hitters. Douglas one of them, but a good bat nonetheless. The 2-0 pitch flared into right field. Sowers has no chance at that one. It'll jump into right center. Picked up by Kyle Langley, and it's a 1-out single off the bat of Jay Douglas.
Yeah, this ball runs in on him, but Douglas able to kind of keep the hand straight and will that one out into right center. Lee Sowers, not the tallest second baseman out there, but even with his jumping ability, not able to make the catch. But if you're Eldridge here, you still got 1 out and just looking for a ground ball.
And now we will turn to the catcher in Logan Duff, and if the name sounds familiar, it's familiar for a reason. The brother of Lane Duff, the son of the great Wayne Duff, now at the plate for Strasburg. A .250 average on the year. The first pickoff attempt over from Brendan Eldridge as Douglas gets back in safely before the first pitch. The older brother of Lane Duff, and had a solid season catching, and now Wayne Duff gets to watch his 2 sons play in a big championship game.
Yeah, I talked to Wayne before yesterday's game, and you know, he had a very appropriate attire. He had the Tom Sox hat and the Express shirt, and he said, "I don't favor anyone to win. I just hope the series goes 3 games."
A third pickoff move from Eldridge as Douglas gets back in time. I haven't seen Wayne Duff yet today. Do we know what attire he's rocking? I would assume it'd be a Tom Sox shirt and a Strasburg hat.
I believe it's the same. I saw him before the game, so he is here.
Repping the same attire. The pitch inside, that one gets a piece of Duff. And it's a hit by pitch to put runners on first and second here with 1 out.
That one's going to sting a bit. It's a fastball that just runs in, and you can tell by Eldridge's reaction that wasn't in any way intentional, but frustrating result nonetheless. But you still have the runner on first here if you can get that ground ball.
Still a chance to get out of the jam here. He'll face the 9-spot hitter in Brooks Henderson. And the first pitch to him will be fouled away.
Foul ball was brought to you by First Heritage Mortgage.
For Henderson this year, out of the University of Maryland, Baltimore. 21 games total on the season, an average just above .220. Picked up a home run in the VBL North championship game. And I think it was a clutch home run that actually ended up being the dagger and gave them the go-ahead runs to make their way into the championship series. He's now down 0-2. Ready on ready matchup. Eldridge kicks and fires, goes to the fastball. It's back up the middle. Nobody can get a hand on it. Douglas will round third. He'll come in to score with no throw. The throw goes to third, and in there safely is Duff. So a 1-out single knots things up and puts runners back on the corners for the top of the order. Strasburg answers right back.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Eldridge got his ground ball, but it was just right up the middle. Soroy, with all of his range, not able to get there, and Douglas can really scoot out there. He's able to come around from second. Now you got a tie game here, and it's really good hitting from Strasburg in the 9-hole, especially with Henderson going down 0-2.
So the back 3 of the lineup put 3 straight runners on base and turn it back over to the top. First pitch, a slider. That's a called strike, and a beautiful, maybe a little bit more sweeper-esque, maybe more curveball-esque than his usual hard-breaking slider, but it's a called strike either way. Eldridge ahead 0-1. Goes back to that pitch. This time it will miss inside to even it up.
Yeah, Brandon does throw that slider and curveball, and a lot of it has vertical break to the point where you can't really tell sometimes what it is. Curveball usually comes in a little bit slower.
The 1-1. In the air down the right field line. Will it be playable? It will not. Hudson Luderman has to watch that one bounce into foul territory. Eldridge is still ahead 1-2 though.
Foul balls to the concession stand in exchange for a prize.
And tonight serves as kind of a revenge game for Brandon Eldridge. He had a rough first outing against these guys, and his first inning of work didn't fare very well against Strasburg, but has a chance to come back as Brock Clayton will save that one from getting to the backstop. We're even at 2-2.
Yeah, that was his first appearance for the Tom Sox, and as you mentioned, it was a very different Strasburg lineup. They're still talented, but it was a different lineup, and now with kind of a full summer of pitching under his belt, he's going to have a lot more confidence.
His 2-2 fastball misses outside, will run full. And the Sox are going to need a whole lot from Brandon Eldridge tonight. The bullpen running quite thin. It ran so thin last night that Tanner Shadle was getting loose in the bullpen as that game came to a close. The runner goes, the ball put into play down the left side. The run will come in to score. Can Jackson Soroy make the play? No, he cannot. An infield single brings in the second run of the game for the Express. They now lead here 2-1 and are still threatening with runners on first and second.
This ball not very hard hit, but it's a pretty well executed hit and run, and Jackson Soroy has made some really solid plays this season, especially kind of off angle like that, but with the way that Bowles runs, that was going to be a nearly impossible play, and it sucks for Eldridge because this is really a couple of ground balls that should have gotten him out of the inning, but they're just very placed in an unlucky way here for the Sox.
Yeah, 4 straight base runners have reached a trio of singles, and only one of them was hit high enough into the air to actually clear the infield, and then a hit by pitch to Logan Duff, who came around to score on that infield single. So Randy Tomlin came out to talk things over with his pitcher. As he looks to reset, he'll face Paul Osting, who had a single in the first inning on the ground into right field. Single will surely bring home another run. First pitch to Osting, fouled away down the third base line. And Eldridge has only allowed 1 earned run in each of his last 4 starts and had not allowed more than 1 run since the outing against Strasburg. The 0-1 pitch upstairs, 1-1. Another thing for Eldridge is he's working on pretty short rest. His last appearance was a 6 2/3 inning start against Waynesboro, where he allowed 1 run through that 6 2/3. His pitch count got up into the 90s, and now has to come back here just 5 days later. Pitch inside, 2-1.
And it's been pretty unlucky for the Tom Sox starting rotation. You lose Evan Allwine, who's kind of already hurt, but tried to play through his foot injury, ended up losing him for the season. JT Gibson with a similar injury on the mound as well. Tim Lawson, we didn't know if he was going to be able to go today. He wasn't able to pitch, and so that's why we're in the spot that we're in.
2-1, skied in the air down the third base line. Does Nias have enough room? Yes, he does. Makes the play right against the fence down the third base line for out number 2. And they're going to talk things over. This one might have been technically out of play.
Oh, wow.
They're going to call it a foul ball and say, it got out of play. There's some dead zones down the third base line, and I guess that spot's included where any ball, there usually is a line actually that you can see that connects from the dugout down to where the bullpen ends. That's usually considered foul territory. There's no markings down there today, but I guess that one was considered out of play. So another 2-2 count. Osting gets another life. Can he translate here? The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Ball don't lie. He waves down at that one for out number 2.
You're right. Ball does indeed not lie, and we don't really have time to disagree or agree with that call. I don't really understand why that catch wasn't ruled fair. It's just every field is different. So what? He still made the catch, but Eldridge able to come back, throw a good off-speed pitch out of the zone and get the strikeout.
It's now Eddie Castillo, who walked to put runners on first and second in the first inning. Now is up to bat with runners on first and second. Takes a called strike on the outside, 0-1. The 0-1. Off of the chest protector of Brock Clayton will move both runners up into scoring position now. A single could open up a 3-run lead.
Will go down as a wild pitch here as Eldridge just spikes that curveball. And, you know, you don't want to deal with Castillo, who's a tough hitter to face, but he's in a 1-1 count here, and you got 2 away.
Hasn't been great with that slider so far here tonight. Hasn't found that grip. 1-1 fastball fouled straight back. He'll work ahead from 1 and 2. That slider just really hasn't been on yet, and he's been forced to rely a lot more on that fastball, which allowed the hard hit single back up the middle. It allowed Osting's single in the first inning. So as this game kind of takes some shape down the line, we'll see if he can learn to develop it. The 1-2 pitch goes to that slider. Maybe that one more of a curveball. Castillo with a great take to even it up at 2 and 2.
Yeah, I think this is something that really sets Eldridge apart in this rotation, is the ability to consistently locate that off-speed pitch, especially with his movement, is really what makes him dangerous.
He'll come set, and his 2-2 offering. Goes back to the fastball. Castillo just gets a piece of it to stay alive. Henderson off of second. Excuse me, Henderson off of third. Bowles off of second. 2 runners in scoring position. Eldridge kicks and fires on the 2-2. Fastball way up and out. Full count on the way. Castillo's worked the long at-bat so far. And I'll see at least one more pitch right here. Pitch count running up for Brandon Eldridge. Can he work his way out of this jam? His 3-2 offering. Fastball, swing and a miss. Back-to-back Ks from Brandon Eldridge gets him out of the jam. 2 runs come across to score for Strasburg. They take a 2-1 lead. We'll head to the bottom of the second. The 1-0 lead for the Sox diminishes in the top of the second inning. They have the chance to answer back right here. And it'll be Hudson Luderman, Tanner Shadle, and Will Genowine to answer that call. Dawson Coe still on the mound. The first pitch to Huddy, fouled straight back.
Luderman, a guy who has collected a hit in 2 of the 3 playoff games so far, and that also includes a couple of sac flies he had versus Stanton. Guy who he really has stepped up.
That pitch down the line, and Randy Tomlin has learned to not flinch at anything Hudson Luderman hits down the line. He knows it's coming his way. And Strasburg, a team who has yet to develop the Hudson-Luderman pull side shift. We'll see if that comes into effect after game number 2, maybe tomorrow night. Goes 0-2. Huddy fouls it away to stay alive. That was that outside fastball that Luderman just got a piece of. Coe versus Luderman. Can the Hokie work back from an 0-2 count? From the stretch, Coe will kick and fire. Up the middle, a base hit for Hudson Luderman. Back-to-back innings with a leadoff single for the Sox. Luderman stays hot. Now it's Tanner Shadle's turn to keep the line moving.
Nice job by Luderman here, and this is what the Virginia Tech coaches are going to like to see. With all of his pull stuff, he gets a fastball up, gets his hands out, and waits a little bit and just pokes it right up the middle. He's got really good bat-to-ball skills and a good amount of natural exit velocity. If he can have that more consistently, he's going to be a weapon in the ACC.
Played in a bunch of games for VT last season as a freshman along with his teammate Anderson French. So they'll continue to develop for the Hokies and should be an exciting future for that team in the ACC. It's now Tanner Shadle's turn, who spent the majority of last night's game warming up in the bullpen. Now gets a DH tonight. A pickoff move over to first, not in time. Shadle started the year as the first baseman for the Sox, then kind of moved out of that role, came back into that role, and has now moved back into his kind of utility spot. Another pickoff move over there to Luderman, who's back standing up.
Yeah, Shadle, another one of those guys who's been here since day one, and first base has been a bit of a revolving door, but credit to him, he's stuck with it and done whatever Tomlin and the coaching staff have asked him.
The 0-1 to Shadle on the outside for a ball. And after picking up hits in 5 of his first 5 games for the Sox, kind of got himself phased out of the order as that revolving door of first baseman came in trying to keep other guys in the lineup. And as you mentioned, Shadle's kind of just stuck with it and been still a vital part of this team when called upon. His 3 home runs, good enough to tie him for the team lead, and he's played in 10 less games than Patrick Nias, who's tied with him at that 3 home run mark. He's ahead 2-1 here on Dawson Coe. Luderman off of first. Pitch way inside, 3-1.
He also walked 3 times in the final regular season game against Culpeper. And I think at the beginning of the season, the strikeout numbers were a little bit higher, but something that's been relatively consistent is his patience at the plate.
The 3-1 on the outside does not catch the corner. Back-to-back base runners for the Sox, and they're into business here. Huddy into scoring position.
Nice job by Tanner taking a fastball. Didn't miss too far off the plate out of the left hand of Coe, but now you got Genowine, a guy who's pretty high contact here in a really big spot.
A job to do. We'll see if he squares to bunt here with the Sox still trying to answer back right here. Nobody out, most likely a bunt situation. The corners both pulled in. Lefty on lefty, the first pitch. He looks like he might just be swinging away. He'll take a curveball for strike 1. And there's that motion. He turned over to Sowers in the dugout and said, slider, curveball, whatever that off-speed pitch was. Coe steps off. So Luderman a single up the middle in what's a very rare occasion for him, and Tanner Shadle works a great walk. Now Genowine at the dish. Coe's 0-1 pitch in the lefty-on-lefty matchup. He squares to bunt this time, gets it down, but it's foul.
Gave him another off speed again, and that can be kind of tough to judge for any hitter when, most of these guys are going to be sitting fastball, but now it's up to Genowine here, 0-2. He probably won't square with a 2-strike count, but just a productive out that's not a double play.
And been in an interesting platoon spot between him and Walker Buchanan out in left field. They kind of go back and forth. It's not really matchup focused. It's more of just every other day seems to be the method. The 0-2 pitch to Genowine. He fouls away another off speed to stay alive.
It's an interesting dynamic. Genowine hasn't been here very long. Buchanan has, and Buchanan has had his struggles over the season. So has Genuine, though, in his short amount of time here. But you're right, there has been kind of just a calm platoon between the two these past week or so.
Yeah, and it doesn't roll situationally, which is kind of, I know, confused us in the media team and just trying to figure out exactly who plays where. But it's more just an every other day type of thing. Luderman off of second base, bouncing around the pitch, spiked in the dirt, blocked up well by Logan Duff. Luderman retreats back to the bag, now 1-2. For Genuine this year, picked up 3 of his 4 regular season hits within his first 2 games played for the Sox. Cooled off a little bit, then came into the playoffs and has picked up a base hit in each of the 2 playoff games he's appeared in. Could be a big spot for his base hit today. The 1-2 goes back to the slider, catches Genuine looking, and that's out number 1, the second strikeout of the day for Dawson Coe.
There's not a whole lot Genuine can do about this. Before his at-bat, I really didn't see that much movement on his slider, curveball, whatever you want to call that, from Coe. And this is a pitch that looks like it's going to hit you in the shoulder when it first starts. And then it just leaks its way into the zone.
Another guy who's been in kind of a platoon spot and now gets to face a lefty-lefty matchup is Lee Sowers at the dish. First pitch to him, another slider. This one doesn't break its way into the zone.
Got to say, Lee walking up to some Herbie Hancock in the championship game as a ball knower walk-up song.
Sowers a musical genius. Between his bass playing and his sporadic singing and dancing, surrounds himself with the tunes at all times. He's ahead 2-0 here. "24 walks on the season and 23 during the regular season in 22 games played, averaging around a walk a game, and always seems to find his way on base. A 330 OBP. The pitch misses outside. He's ahead 3-0, but ended the season, the regular season that was, on a 465 clip for his on-base percentage. Coe, after dealing well to the lefty and Genuine, now was behind 3-0. That pitch will find the outside corner, 3-1. Hargett awaits on deck with a single already today and a run scored. Can Lee turn it back over to the top of the order with this game tied? Coe from the closed-off lefty position, kicks and fires on the ground towards the left side, but foul, and it's a full count. Kind of have to assume he goes back to that big sweeping breaking pitch that froze Will Genuine. It worked against Lee Sowers, actually, a couple of days ago. Resulted in a duo of strikeouts, looking as he's a big fastball attacker and got a lot of off-speed. What does Coe concoct here? The 3-2 pitch goes to the fastball, but he misses upstairs, and that will load things up for Perry Hargett.
It's really what makes Lee's at-bat so impressive a lot of the times is his ability to stay locked in on a 3-2 count. And, of course, that pitch was nowhere near competitive, really, but still a good job by Lee not chasing and now getting the bases loaded here for Perry.
We'll get a quick mound visit here as the defense talks things over for Strasburg. There's some motion out there in the bullpen for Strasburg as they look to get a guy loose. It's going to be Jacob Chadwell who's going to start tossing around. And the sophomore right-hander could be a big switch up here with his 6'4", 205 frame against the 6'1", 195 frame of Dawson Coe. Plays his baseball at Longwood, the same spot that some other guys around the league have either played in or made some stops in along their way through their careers collegiately. See how long the hook is for Dawson Coe. He'll face Perry Hargett, who already has a single today. First pitch way upstairs, ball 1.
Something that I'm sure these Strasburg coaches led by Phil Betterly are going to be keeping an eye on is the Tom Sox only run in this game so far in the first inning came on a wild pitch, and Of course, that first fastball missing pretty badly, as the last one to Sowers was. Got to be really careful back there if you're Coe and Duff behind the plate.
And you mentioned he hasn't gone more than 3 innings all season. Now in his 2nd inning of work, faced some trouble in the first and facing some trouble again here in the second, so that pitch count definitely ramping up to some of the higher points that he's thrown all season long. He's now behind 2-0 after another pitch missed, this time in the dirt, and will look to find some middle ground here on the 2-0. He'll kick and fire. That one misses up and out again. And with nowhere to put Perry Hargett, Dawson Coe is going to have to work back in here.
You could see Phil Betterly grab the walkie-talkie over there, so depending on where this ball ends up, this could be his last pitch.
The 3-0 pitch. It does catch the plate on the bottom half, now 3-1. Hargett should get a good pitch to hit right here, with Coe presumably running low on gas. Luderman off of third, Shadle off of second, Sowers off of first. The pitch in the dirt gets away, but it's ball 4. Everybody moves up 1 base, and we're all knotted up at 2 here in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, Perry continues his nice day here. Had the single to lead things off in the bottom half of the first, and now an RBI walk. It's not the prettiest way to score a run ever, but hey, this is the championship. Runs are runs, and things are now knotted up at 2.
Take them however you can get them out here in the VBL championship game. Knots things all up. Betterly will stay put in his spot in the dugout, so another batter for Dawson Coe. This one might be the last, with the right-hander Jackson Soroy due up next. Kyle Langley at the dish, had a ground out in his first AB. First pitch to him, a fastball just misses the outside corner. See the corners playing in there. First play will be at home in the middle infield, scooted back into double play depth. Langley, a 3-run bomb yesterday. What does he have in store for us today? He will take a 1-0 pitch with some wrinkle on it to even it up at 1-1.
Good slider there from Coe, but when Langley hits one out, he doesn't hit a ton of home runs, but they're always no-doubters, so he has that the power capability.
And only one right-handed batter retired today, as the 1-1 pitch is a called strike. The only righty who's been actually retired today has been Pat Neas, who had a line out into center field. Luderman had a single, Shadle had a walk, and then a single and a walk for Perry Hargett, along with a single for Jackson Soroy. So Coe's been solid against the lefties, not so solid against the right-handed bats. He works ahead 1-2 here, and that 1-2 pitch to Kyle Langley will miss low and away to even it up at 2-2.
Yeah, that's 3 straight sliders for Langley. Thankfully, that third one missed badly outside, but you got to be ready for a fastball here. Even though that slider has been successful in that bat, there's just as likely as a chance that Coe tries to speed him up.
Can he ramp it up here? The 2-2 pitch. Fastball on the outside, spikes it in the dirt, and we're now a full count on board right here. See Coy Tomlin walking around the bleachers with Jackson Soroy's dog, bringing some good luck to the Tom Sox. The dog Scooby made a feature at the game last night on the road in Strasburg, brought some good luck and good vibes for the Sox. Coe's got a 3-2 pitch. What has he got? It's a swing and a miss from Kyle Langley for out number 2. And Dawson Coe just 1 out away from only giving up the 1 run and limiting the damage.
It's a good pitch here. You know the slider's good when you get Kyle to fan at one in the dirt, and this is a slider that it would have been ball 4, but lefty-lefty again just makes things so much more difficult. And you see here, this might be the end of the road here for Coe with the righty Soroy coming up to the plate.
And this will be the hook for Dawson Coe here. He's responsible for all 3 runners on base. And Strasburg will turn their way to Jacob Chadwell to try to escape this inning, then give him some distance in the innings to follow. We will step aside as Chadwell gets loose, all knotted up at 2 right here from Cho Airport Field. It's Jacob Chadwell onto the mound to face Jackson Soroy with the bases all knotted up. With 2 down here in the bottom of the 2nd inning, 1 run already across for Charlottesville on a bases-loaded walk from Perry Hargett. He's off of first, Lee Sowers off of second, Tanner Shadle off of third. And for Jacob Chadwell, it's a very, very high-intensity scenario. The first pitch to Jackson Soroy is a called strike on the outside.
Yeah, only 4 innings of work for him. He hasn't allowed a run. You take a look at his numbers at Longwood from this past season, 23 innings of 14.5 ERA, where hitters hit .388 against him.
Been good so far here in the VBL, but what does Soroy have? He will take the pitch upstairs, 1-1. Soroy still donning the blue and orange of the UVA Cavaliers. Will take his talents to Maryland next season. The 1-1 into center field. Will it settle? Jay Douglas robs him instead. A nice running play from Douglas will end the inning, but the Sox push 1 across. We're all tied up at 2 as we head to the 3rd. Landon Beaver will lead off for the Express here. Another inning of work on the mound, due up for Brendan Eldridge. He's worked through 2, gave up 2 last inning, and will look to bounce back with some more effective work here. He'll face the most dangerous power hitter in the Valley in Landon Beaver.
Yeah, Beaver, a guy who has just tortured pitchers this season. 13 home runs in the regular season, 45 RBIs as well.
The 1-0 pitch just misses the outside corner, and Beaver is either top 1 or top 5 in the majority of statistics across the entire league, and been just, as you mentioned, torturous at the plate. He's ahead 3-0. He's top 3 in batting average in the Valley, leads in the RBIs, leads in home runs, and we'll take that pitch for a called strike 1. Had a solo shot last night that cleared a pretty small Strasburg field by a pretty good amount, and definitely would have been out of the ballpark here as well.
Yeah, he's a big dude, 6'2", 205.
3-1 misses outside, and you won't see him swing his bat this AB, as he will walk his way to first with a leadoff walk.
Yeah, didn't really get a competitive pitch in that at-bat except for the 3-0 one. And at this point, though, with Beaver and how dangerous he can be at the plate, not that big of a deal.
Eldridge from the stretch now with Beaver off of first. Into left field. Off the bat of Jake McCarter, ranging back is Will Genuine. He'll settle underneath it for out number 1. So a long fly out gets the job done. One gone here, top three.
Yeah, off the bat, this one looked like it might have enough to get out, but it just kind of died out there in the air and had enough for Genuine to make the catch.
And just a quick reminder, this third inning is brought to you by Mosquito Joe, doing bad things to bad bugs. Thank you, Mosquito Joe, for all of your help and support of the Charlottesville Tom Sox this season. And with one down, the next bad bug up is Brett Mosley at the plate for the Express.
Yeah, Mosley in this game 0 for 1 with a deep fly out to center field here, so Eldridge definitely hoping he can not induce that much contact.
Allowed out for out number 1 this inning, and allowed out for out number 1 last inning off the bat of Mosley, who's now even 1-1. Beaver off of first base. Does have 5 stolen bags on the year. Hasn't been caught yet, so a smart runner, but not a whole lot of speed out there. Mosley's ahead 2-1, and I'm sure they'll be more than inclined to let Brett Mosley continue at the plate. Mosley donning the light blue ankle/foot guard along with a matching elbow guard as he reps his program. Eldridge will come set the 3-1. He kicks and fires. Flied out towards Jackson Soroy and Pat Neas. Soroy will make the call and make the catch for out number 2. Retires Mosley via the pop out. And it's now Jay Douglas at the dish.
Nice job by Brandon there, able to induce contact, and Mosley just gets under that one. Definitely did not run that ball out, which is something that I'm sure some coaches will give him some trouble for, but now back to Eldridge, just 2 outs here with another tough hitter at the plate in Douglas.
Douglas got things rolling as he'll foul it just off the end of his bat to the backstop for strike 1. Got things rolling in the second inning with a 1-out single into right field that started the string of 4 straight base runners for Strasburg. He came around to score their first run of the game as well. Eldridge is working ahead from the 0-1, goes to the slider, just misses inside. Worked his way through a hard-to-face 4-5-6. Gets to deal with the 7 spot in Douglas. The 1-1 cut through from Jay Douglas, who's now down 1-2. Can Eldridge work his way through the third? Beaver off of first base, who reached on a leadoff walk. A 1-2 count with 2 strikes. Pitch just misses the inside corner. Evened up at 2-2.
Good sequence there from Eldridge. That ball didn't miss too far inside, but Douglas really crowds the plate out there, so not quite able to get the call.
We'll see a 2-2 pitch here from Eldridge. Chopped towards Soroy at short. Douglas has speed. The throw. Is it in time? Yes, it is. A nice stretch from Hudson Luderman to record out number 3. So it's a scoreless frame worked by Brandon Eldridge. We'll head to the bottom of the third. Once again, brought to you by Mosquito Joe, doing bad things to bad bugs. Thank you for your support, Mosquito Joe. The Sox get 4, 5, and 6 due up here in the bottom of the third with this one all knotted up at 3. It's Brock Clayton to lead things off against Jacob Chadwell, who came in to record the final out and escaped a bases-loaded jam for Strasburg in the bottom of the second inning. A plus matchup for Brock Clayton. The first pitch he sees, he will flare over to the left side. A nice play made by Brady Bowles. Is it in time? Yes, it is. The play made from Bowles in the 5-6 hole on a softly hit ground ball gets Brock Clayton in time for out number 1.
This is pretty unlucky all around. This is really in on the hands, and this ball had a weird knuckling effect to it. Nice strong throw there from Bowles, and I think if not for Clayton running, pretty much any Tom Sock beats that one out.
It's now Pat Nias at the dish, who will wave at the slider for strike 1. Chadwell will come set again. These two batters gotten 2 outs. Into center field goes Pat Nias. Ranging back is Jay Douglas. Does he have enough room? Yes, he does. And he'll make the play on the warning track to record out number 2.
Yeah, Douglas has been kind of a pain back there for the Tom Sox today, specifically for Nias, who's now made his 2 outs, both out there to center field. This one, he gets a slider, and the second time he's on this one out to deep center field, which probably is a home run at First Bank Park in Strasburg, but Douglas with good range able to make the catch.
Langley's now made a good play out in center. Jay Douglas makes a good play right there. Hudson Luderman, who kicked off the second inning with a single up the middle, is now ahead 1-0. Chadwell from the stretch will fire in a ball outside. Still no movement out there for Charlottesville. They're going to look to extend Eldridge as long as he can go. The 2-0 pitch on the bottom half of the zone for a called strike. Potentially the best pitch Huddy's going to see here today. The 2-1 into Luderman on the ground towards the third base side. The play tried to be made by Henderson, but it gets underneath his glove. No recovery right there from Brady Bowles. That's an E5, and Luderman's on base.
There's been a lot of ground balls with funky English to them today, and this one looked pretty routine, but Henderson just not able to squeeze it, and now the Sox get some life here with 2 outs.
And maybe it was the bugs, but Mosquito Joe keeps the bugs out of Cho Airport Field. Once again, a big thank you to Mosquito Joe for sponsoring us here with the Tom Sox. First pitch to Tanner Shadle, up and in for ball 1. Sox get another breath after the error from Henderson. Chadwell will kick and fire. Shadle swings through it. 1-1. Chadwell, the 1-1. Slider catches the outside corner for a called strike. He's now ahead 1-2 here on Shadle. Three home runs on the year for Tanner. What does he have here? The 1-2 pitch. Will it catch the bottom of the zone? No, it will not. Logan Duff thought it was a called strike 3. The Express thought it was a called strike 3. But Rochelo Schultheis behind the plate says otherwise. And we'll get a 2-2.
Looked pretty obviously below the zone from our view.
The 2-2 pitch misses low and away. The throw down is not in time to get Luderman. The throw goes underneath the glove of Brady Bowles, and Luderman works his way over to third base as he's now aboard and 90 feet away from scoring position after a stolen bag on a rough throw from Logan Duff that saw him move over to third. The 3-2 offering to Shadle upstairs, ball 4. And after the Express thought they were walking their way back into the dugout after a slider from Chadwell, the Sox 2 pitches later have runners on the corners here for Will Genowine.
Good job by Shadle working another walk, and it's the first surrendered by Chadwell in this one. Let's see if Genuine can do a little better than his previous at-bat with the right-hander on the bump.
Plus matchup for him into right center field. Will it get over the glove? No, it will not. Eddie Castillo skies himself to the moon to rob Genuine of a base hit and an RBI. And we'll stay tied as we head to the bottom of the third. Thank you, Mosquito Joe, doing bad things to bad bugs. We'll head to the fourth from Joe Airport Field. Brandon Eldridge to work again here in the top of the fourth inning. Worked through 3 so far, just surrendered a pair of runs. Picked up a pair of strikeouts as well to match. And he will now face 8, 9, and 1 with Logan Duff to lead off, who was hit by a pitch in the second. First pitch he sees, he will sky, fouled straight back.
Yeah, it's been a funky game so far, Jeremy. It feels like the Tom Sox have gotten very unlucky again with the hitting side, and then on the batting side, it feels like Brandon Eldridge has gotten very unlucky with the ways he's giving up his hits.
Into left field, Genuine will range back. He's got room to make the play, and he will for out number 1. You thought you jinxed us there for a second off the bat.
I am now 2 for 2 in successfully not jinxing them. And that itself was a jinx, so I'm going to knock on wood.
Successfully almost jinxing us twice. It's a frightening sight, but a pair of long flyouts on Daniel's 2 jinx attempts. And it's 2 outs on the board, but now 1 out here in the top of the fourth for the 9-spot hitter in Brooks Henderson. He had a single into center field as the first pitch doesn't find the zone from Eldridge.
I mean, it's like clockwork, Jeremy. I swear. Some people, they're like, oh, I'm not superstitious. Well, you should be.
You should be. The 1-0 on the ground. Soroy will handle on the backhand. Henderson hustling down the line. The throw beats him there. And the Terp makes the play for out number 2.
You know, for a guy who's not super big or tall in Soroy, he's able to really get deep in shortstop there and glove the ball, get the ball over to first. He's got a lot stronger of an arm than you'd give him credit for. He made a nice play there.
It's the third put out of the day for Jackson Soroy. The fourth play he's tried to make, but he's only been successful on 3. There was an infield single off the bat of Brady Bowles that just was hit a little too slow and a little too far into that 5-6 hole for him to get there to make the play. First pitch missed to Bowles here, and the second one misses upstairs for ball 2. Pair of quick outs right there from Brandon Eldridge, and he now rolls around to the top of the order for Brady Bowles, who has that infield single and also has a ground out to Soroy in his other at-bat. The 2-0 pitcher called, strike on the changeup right there, 2-1.
Yeah, nice job taking something off here by Eldridge. Now he's back into this at-bat here against Bowles, but you have to be careful because Strasburg leadoff man, very good at his job.
The 2-1 to Bowles, cut through for strike 2, And it's now 2-2 and a 2-2 ball game here in the 4th inning. Couldn't come up with a math joke fast enough to get us to the 2+2 for the 4th inning. I'm sorry. But the 2-2 pitch on the outside misses low. Ball 3.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I couldn't do that math quick enough, so it's okay.
Unfortunately, the moment is over. It is now a 3-2 count. And all of the magic of the math has gone by the wayside. Eldridge from the stretch, his 3-2. Goes to the fastball. It's a called strike 3. A bat flip from Brady Bowles, but he'll have to pick it up and return back to the dugout. That's a called strike 3. Strikeout number 3 for Brandon Eldridge. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th inning, still tied up at 2. Nine 1-2 for the Sox here in the bottom of the 4th frame, all knotted up at 2 at Cho Airport Field. And what's been a pretty evenly matched affair. A couple of unlucky plays for the Sox so far, a couple of unlucky plays for the Express have kept this game tight through the middle innings. And right after this frame in the top of the 5th is where things kind of started to go a little haywire last night. We'll see if tonight takes a similar turn with the offensive production. See if the second half of the game brings some life and some runs onto the scoreboard. We saw 23 runs scored last night so far, just 4 through 3.5 innings played. The 1-1 pitch to Lee Sowers, outside, ball 1.
Well, if there's any time for a game to go haywire, it would be around now, as the Sox are going to reach the 3rd time through the order here, and we'll see if Sowers can continue his good work of getting on base first.
2-1 pitch. Flared into left field. It'll get over the head of Brady Bowles, and it's a leadoff single for Lee Sowers. He's reached base in both of his at-bats, and he'll turn it over to Perry Hargett on first base.
That's exactly what a 9-hitter is supposed to do. Nice job by Sowers. There's been a lot of balls that have been hit kind of in on the hands of both of these teams' batters, but Lee finally able to benefit from some good luck here and get on base.
The first pitch to Perry Hargett, righty-righty, misses outside, ball 1. Hargett today reached in both of his at-bats. A single in the first where he came around to score run number 1 of the game, and then an RBI walk in the second to tie things up. Been the offense for Charlottesville so far. The 1-0 pitch wrinkles in there for a called strike 1. And another thing to note about Roshlo Schultheis behind the plate, he's a very late strike call. Whether that's strike 1, strike 2, or strike 3, he will hang around for a little bit before making that call, which can be kind of beneficial for pitchers like we saw at the end of last inning with Brandon Eldridge. Also sometimes not very beneficial, as you kind of have to wait around for an extra second to figure out the call. Back-to-back pickoff moves over to Sowers at first. He's back in safely both times. Perry Hargett stays hot with his barrels after his single in the first. And will this be the turn of luck for him? 1-1, called strike. There's that outside fastball, and after we saw Dawson Coe turn to it a lot, there's Jacob Chadwell, who strikes back with one of his own. Chadwell kicks and fires the 1-2, a little bit upstairs, evened up 2-2.
I mean, if I'm Charlottesville, I would almost encourage them to keep throwing those outside fastballs, because especially at the top of the order, these hitters are capable of getting on it and taking it the other way.
Another 2-2 pitch. There's that fastball on the outside. It does not hit the spot this time. Hargett lays off, and it just misses the corner for a full count. Looked like a pretty good spot from Chadwell there. Didn't get the call from Rochelo Schultheis behind the dish. And we'll see the payoff here. Sowers off of first base. The 3-2 flared out towards right, but foul.
Ball was brought to you by First Heritage Mortgage.
Hargett putting together a good at-bat. We'll see ourselves pitch number 7 here. Chadwell from the stretch. The 3-2 fouled away again. And we'll have an 8-pitch at-bat on our hands.
It's interesting, over the course of the summer, Hargett has really held his bat further, kind of closer to his body instead of closer to his head. And I think it's helped a lot with his bat speed as the year has gone on.
Changed up his approach a little bit. The 3-2 again on the ground towards the right side. Takes a nasty hop off the face of Castillo, but the play gets made over to Bowles. It deflected off of Castillo to Bowles at second base. And Castillo's still down. The trainers will come out to take a look. That one took an absolutely disgusting hop off of the grass. It'll go down as a 4-6 fielder's choice, and one of the more interesting ways I've seen a double play almost be turned. Hopefully Castillo's all right out there. It took a very dirty hop, a hard-hit baseball from Perry Hargett, who's now aboard on first. And the training staff for the Sox will take a look at Castillo. Hopefully he's doing okay. It seems like it just caught the lip of the grass between the dirt and the infield grass. There's a little bit of a divot that's kind of gotten created through some of the rain out here, and I think it went down into that dirt and popped itself up a lot higher than really anybody was expecting. Castillo's sat up now. But we will step aside right here as the staff continues to attend to Castillo and hopefully able to provide you guys with a positive update when we return, with one out here in the bottom of the 4th inning, still tied up at 2. Eddie Castillo will remain at second base here, and the out was just confirmed on the field. And what was probably one of the more impressive plays of Eddie Castillo's career, had the leaping grab to end last inning and somehow pulled off of the head assist over to Bowles at second, who almost turned a double play on that same exact play. Instead, Hargett will be off of first base. He pump fakes the stolen base. Langley fouls it away down the third base line. It's getting out of play.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing that Castillo is still in this game. I mean, he was checked likely for a concussion on the field, and the trainers have came to the conclusion that he was okay, and you know, that's always good to see. But that was probably one of the more odd 4-6 fielder's choices you're going to see.
Looks like there is some action out in that bullpen. Does appear to be Davis Rivers getting loose for Strasburg. Another foul ball from Kyle Langley. This one might just be playable down towards the bullpen, but it gets just over the fence.
Now for Langley, this is his first at-bat against right-handed pitching here, so he's not going to have to deal with that lefty-lefty looping slider, but already in an 0-2 hole here. See if he can choke up and defend.
Down in an 0-2 hole, Perry Hargett off of first base. Just might take off here. He does not. He holds up the pitch on the outside. Not a called strike three. It's ball one instead. Much to the chagrin of the Strasburg Express crowd down the third base line. Langley's 1-2, outside 2-2. Chadwell still on the mound here, working through some trouble. Has given up what became back-to-back base runners, but Sowers forced out at second. Hargett off of first. The 2-2 offering to Langley. Another pitch on the outside. This one definitely a lot more outside, and will run full.
Really attacking that outside corner now. 3 times in a row they've gone to it. Hargett now on a full count might be more inclined to take off.
Hargett could leave to avoid the double play ball. The 3-2 pitch. He does take off. It's on the outside, and it misses. The slider couldn't come back into the zone on the back door. And now Langley's aboard with a one-out walk, and that puts runners on first and second for Jackson Soroy.
It's been probably more on the frustrating side of a night here for Jackson Soroy. He's had a single and a deep line out to center field, but now he's got another chance here, this time to take the lead back.
Hargett off of second now. Langley off of first. Soroy at the plate. The first pitch, a slider in the dirt. 1 for 2 so far. The infield single and a fly out. Pretty deep out there to center field. Thought it was going to get down in that right center field gap, but a nice play made by Douglas. The 1-0 pitch, a strike on the outside. And the outside fastball has been relocated against the right-hander Soroy. Seems to be a little bit more open against those right-handed batters and seems to be a little closer against the lefties like we saw with Kyle Langley's last at-bat. A big lead from Hargett. The 1-1 pitch into right field, carrying back towards the wall. Osting goes back. He makes the play on the warning track. Hargett will tag up and head over to third with no throw. So runners on the corners. Jackson Soroy just missing an opposite field blast.
He's been doing that more and more, that opposite field power, and even with the short porch out there, just 290 down the right field line, that ball was really close to getting out, but good base running there from Hargett to get over to third.
And this looks like it will be the hook right here for Jacob Chadwell, and they're going to turn to Davis Rivers to once again come into a jam and get the last out in an inning. Chadwell had to come and do it in the second. And now Rivers will be called upon here. We will step aside as Davis Rivers warms up with runners on the corners and 2 outs here, bottom 4. Davis Rivers into the ball game for the Express with runners on the corners and Brock Clayton at the dish. Daniel, what do we have on him?
He pitched 15 innings this regular season and one in the playoffs where he threw a scoreless one.
We'll face Brock Clayton here. The first pitch to Clayton skied into the air on the infield. Henderson makes the call. He'll range in to make the play for out number 3. So Brock Clayton retired on one pitch for out number 3 and an effective pitch from Davis Rivers. And we'll head to the top of the 5th inning. Once again, still tied at 3. Another inning of work for Brandon Eldridge is on deck here as we're tied at 2 in the top of the 5th inning. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 due up for Strasburg. Paul Osting, Eddie Castillo, and Landon Beaver due up for the Express as they look to break this 2-2 tie. Another right-hander getting loose for the Sox. It'll be Luke Crater tossing around out in the bullpen. We'll see when Randy Tomlin decides to go to Crater here tonight. First pitch upstairs to Osting for ball 1. The 1-0, cut foul. For Eldridge so far, he's worked through 4 innings, given up 3 hits, given up 4 hits, 3 of the 4 in the 2nd inning, and given up base runners in 3 of the 4 innings. Worked a scoreless in a 1-2-3 inning last time out. The 1-1 pitch just misses downstairs. And a trio of strikeouts as well, including one looking to Brady Bowles to fire the Sox back up at the end of last inning. Game that's kind of yet to take shape, had some early scoring, some early jitters, and since then has kind of settled down. We've seen 4 straight scoreless innings between the two sides. Or 4 straight scoreless, I guess, at-bats between the two sides. 2 straight scoreless innings. A 3-1 from Eldridge. Up and away, not even close for ball 4.
Yeah, and this is that kind of game now, or that point in the game where if you're Eldridge, you have to hunker down and, you know, he's pitching on short rest, and if you're a coach as well, you also have to really be careful. I think the leash tightens here just because of the situation and the fact that he's playing on not as long of rest as he usually does.
His first pitch to Castillo up and in off the glove of Brock Clayton. Moving over to second is Paul Osting. And it'll be a wild pitch from Brandon Eldridge to move the runner up. And with nobody out, the go-ahead run stands in scoring position. Still ready on righty. Eldridge, the 1-0 pitch, goes back to the fastball again. This time it just misses a little bit inside. It's 2-0. Eldridge kicks and fires. Fastball inside once more. Now 3-0. Can't seem to work it back into the zone. Randy Tomlin now pacing at the edge of the dugout. The 3-0. A called strike as Castillo launches his bat towards the third base dugout. He'll have to walk back over that way to collect it. And not something that most umpires enjoy seeing from batters, and see if that changes the Sox' favor. A 3-1 delivery from Brandon Eldridge right here, upstairs. This time it's not close, it's ball 4, back-to-back walks. Put runners on first and second, and here comes Randy Tomlin. This might just be the hook for Brandon Eldridge. And it seems like he might just be talking it over right now with Eldridge to see if he can stay in this game and attack his batters. Tomlin known for settling his pitchers down pretty well, Daniel, especially in key moments like this.
Well, this is obviously where the big league expertise comes in. Of course, Randy played 5 years with the Pirates back in the 1990s, and so, you know, he's been through this kind of spot on the mound. I got to say, I was expecting Eldridge to be taken out after this, but as soon as I saw Randy jogging out there to the mound instead of walking, that's how I know it's Randy code for he's probably going to stay in here. So he's got a lot of faith in his starter, and an interesting matchup coming up here with Landon Beaver.
And we've already mentioned Landon Beaver. We've mentioned what he can do, what he did last night with his solo shot, and the chance he has right here before him. Nobody out here. Runners on first and second. First pitch to Beaver, fouled away.
That foul ball was brought to you by First Heritage Mortgage.
0 for 1 today for Beaver. Popped out to Soroy the other way and walked in the third. His third at bat against Brandon Eldridge. The 0-1 from Eldridge into right field. On the ground, it'll get through, coming around third. And on his way home is Osting. He's there in time. Hargett couldn't collect. Beaver will move up to second base. And it's a 3-2 lead for the Express after the RBI single, and then an error from Hargett out in right field allows Beaver to move up to second to keep 2 runners in scoring position for Strasburg.
I think now this is going to be it for Eldridge, and I don't blame Tomlin for shortening the leash, and frankly, there's really only so much you can do with a guy like Landon Beaver before he starts to get you. And, you know, I think that error from Hargett out there is going to sting, but for Eldridge, I think you have to hold your head high, because considering what he was asked to do in this kind of dire of a situation, he performed pretty admirably here, and so now it's time for Crater to get out of this inning.
He'll give up at the very least 3 runs here through 4+ innings pitched, and it'll now be turned over to Luke Crater to lock things down. We will be right back after he finishes warming up. The Express now lead 3-2. Crater on the mound in what is a crater of a jam here in a big hole. With runners on second and third. And nobody out here in the top of the fifth. One run already across for Strasburg. He has to face Jake McCarter, who's 0 for 2 with a pair of flyouts today. The first pitch fouled off. But Landon Beaver comes through with the RBI single. And then both him and Eddie Castillo moved up to second and third, respectively, on an error from Perry Hargett on right. Something that was uncharacteristic of him during the regular season that we have seen 2 of now in the playoffs.
Yeah, and you know, the championship just adds more pressure, and that's really the only way that you can explain it.
The 0-1 pitch spiked in the dirt from Crater. And speaking of Luke Crater, Danny, what we got?
So he's pitched 14 innings for the Sox in the regular season, equated out to a 4.39 ERA. Started 2 games, did also start in the playoffs as well versus Culpepper. So a guy that has the length if needed, but he's got quite the divot to work himself out of here.
His 1-1 pitch, the off-speed chopped foul. And a different motion than you see from Brandon Eldridge, a lot more over the top from Luke Crater with his 6'5" frame and everything over the top. A very mellow guy as well on the mound. Not a very high-energy guy. You don't see him really get pumped up a whole lot. But that could change with a big escape here. His 1-2 offering to McCarter goes to the inside with the fastball. Had him beat to the spot, doesn't get the call. 2-2.
Yeah, as opposed to Eldridge. Eldridge kind of glides to the plate, has a very easy motion. Crater's mechanics a little bit more violent, and that comes with the stuff, too. A very sharp-breaking curveball and a big fastball, too.
His 2-2 pitch into Jake McCarter. Goes to the off-speed for strike number 3, and in his first batter, Luke Crater gets a big strikeout for out number 1.
Just goes to the curveball there, and not to be covered in that play. Good job by Brock Clayton getting the squeeze on that ball and securing the strikeout.
Designated hitter, Brett Mosley.
He'll now face yet another dangerous batter in Brett Mosley, who's 0 for 2 today and is surely due for something in this at-bat. The same way Landon Beaver had been pretty unsuccessful up until his third at-bat, but he does get to face the new arm here in Crater, who has worked so far through one batter. The first pitch to the lefty, inside, ball 1. Mosley a deep fly out to center and a pop out to short. Who's now ahead 1-0. Runners on second and third, 1 gone here, top 5, a 3-2 score in favor of the Express. The 1-0 pitch fouled away, 1-1.
I think if Crater can locate that curveball more effectively than Eldridge did, that's going to definitely lead to success. I think that was the biggest pitfall in Brandon's start today, which wasn't bad, but that off-speed pitch, when he has it working, he's usually a lot better.
Crater, the 1-1. Outside, 2-1. A solid outing from Brandon Eldridge. We can't close his door officially yet, but it will be down for 4+ innings with a trio of strikeouts as well. So solid stuff from Eldridge. And we'll see if Crater can help him out here in the 5th. He'll kick and fire the 2-1. Curveball called strike. 2-2. Infield pulled in. Anything on the ground, they'll look to keep Castillo from getting home and opening up a 2-run lead. Crater, the 2-2 pitch into right center field with some carry underneath it. Kyle Langley's there to make the play. Both runners will tag. The throw goes into third. Everybody's in safely. It's a sacrifice fly from Brett Mosley. And it's now a 4-2 lead in favor of the Express.
Can't necessarily put this one on Luke here. This is just kind of what happens when you go up against a guy who's at Ole Miss, one of the better programs in the country. He gets a curveball here, and a lot of hitters in the Valley would wave at this pitch, but Mosley is ready for it and puts a pretty good swing into this one. Luckily for the Sox, Langley is there, but not much you can do if you're any of those outfielders, and Tom Sox now down by 2.
Another at-bat that could pay some dividends down the line. Jay Douglas at the plate. 1 for 2 so far today. Landon Beaver over at third, who tagged up as well on that flyout. The first pitch, a curveball. Douglas will take it for strike 1. Crater done well so far. Got through 2 batters and has picked up a pair of outs. Can he work through Douglas here? The 0-1, spiked in the dirt, gets to the backstop. Clayton gets over there, but Crater's not to home in time. Beaver in safely. 5-2 Express.
And this is a tough one because I think Brock Clayton has been really solid back there tonight. He's done a really good job keeping most of it in front of him. And although this one is going to get ruled a wild pitch, I mean, you can't have that happen with the runner on third. And now the Tom Sox find themselves in a little bit of a bigger deficit here.
Came back from this exact same deficit last night. Or actually, I guess Strasburg came back from this exact same deficit. The Sox came back from down 6. Douglas squares to bunt. Takes it now 2-1. But the Sox led 5-2 going into the bottom of the 5th inning as well, and Strasburg came back to open up an 11-5 lead that eventually Charlottesville came back from to tie things up, and then the win in extra innings. But no deficit too big here in the VBL. Crater's 2-1 offering fouled away. And on the note of that wild pitch, that is kind of the downside of Luke Crater and his aggressive mechanics that you had talked about right when he came in, is sometimes that control just isn't there just because of how hard he's trying to throw, how aggressive he's trying to be pitch to pitch. It allows some pitches like that where you just lose complete control over it and you spike it either 5 feet wide or 5 feet short. The 2-2 goes to that curveball. That time it was pretty and blocked up well by Clayton, but no chase from Jay. Douglas will run it full here with 2 gone in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, the bottom line is it's what you sacrifice, and this has been a debate all season long about should these pitchers be trying to throw the hardest that they possibly can and continue to sacrifice sacrifice location. But with Crater here, he's 1 strike away from getting out of the inning.
The 3-2 offering. Nobody on, 2 out here, top 5. Crater's 3-2 to the sweeper. Gets the swing and the miss. And the Sox get out of the inning, but not before 3 runs come across for Strasburg. They now lead 5-2. We'll head to the bottom of the inning, and I will turn things over to Daniel Stein to take us the rest of the way right here in Charlottesville.
Bottom of the 5th here in Game 2 of this VBL Championship Series between Charlottesville and Strasburg. Patrick Nias swings at the first pitch and hits a ground ball right to the shortstop Bowles, and he throws over to retire the Charlottesville third baseman in just one pitch. Charlottesville now playing from behind in this one, trailing 5-2, as Hudson Luderman will check in here with one out.
Yeah, no deficit too big, as we talked about the inning before, but a 3-run deficit with half of a game of baseball left to play is plenty of time to get the offense rolling and get back. The Sox are definitely a second-half team when it comes to not just this game, but also the entire season as a whole. And after a rough start to this game and this season, have the chance to come back right here.
Here's the first pitch from Rivers to Luderman. That ball's crushed down the left field line, but foul. Look out. All the fans sitting by the road there. It is a good point, Jeremy. I mean, we were down by 3 against Culpeper. We were able to come back and win that one. Stanton as well. You were down 6-3 at John Moxey Stadium, and obviously the Sox were able to get past the Braves in that one as well. This is a team that has really shown a lot of fight all season long and has overcome a lot of adversity. Here's the 0-1 as Luderman pops this one up. This should go foul as well, right over our heads. You don't hear the big thunk here in the press box, so it probably went behind us. 0-2 count here with one out to Hudson Luderman, who has reached in both of his at-bats, first on a single in the second, and then on an error from the third baseman Henderson in the third. Rivers comes set. Here's the 0-2, and Luderman skies this one right on the line. Henderson will redeem himself here for the second out here in the 5th.
Yeah, Huddy just was behind on the fastball last at bat and ahead on the fastball here in this one. Just off the end of his bat. Pops it foul and a quick 2 outs for the Sox.
Brings Tanner Shadle up to the plate here for at bat number 3. No official ABs for Tanner tonight as he has 2 walks. First pitch to him, a slider that nicks the zone out of the right hand of Rivers. Shadle has done a nice job working long at bats in this game. He's behind the count here, 0-1. Here's the pitch. It runs a bit inside. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. It's a Tom Sox team that played really well yesterday, but ultimately came up short in Strasburg, losing that one 12-11. Saxon Roberts came in at the end of that game and tossed to career high in innings, but in the end surrendered the game-winning RBI single. But the message largely from this team was that it really wasn't on him. It was the shorthandedness of the bullpen that has kind of progressively hit the Tom Sox all season long was really the culprit, and Roberts not used to playing that long in a game, but has seen his usage rate increase as the 3-1 is swung on and fouled away towards the right side.
Yeah, and for Saxon last night, it was a career high, and he went over 4 innings pitched, and I talked to him after his second inning pitched, and he said, I can't feel my arm. So impressive that he made it through an additional 2 innings and then some, and just kind of the heart that you look for in a guy on your roster.
3-2 inside, and Tanner continues to have no official at-bat. He works his 3rd walk, and that will put a man on here with 2 away for Will Genowine. 3rd walk issued in the outing, or 1st walk, I should say, issued for Rivers in this one, as Genowine will look to find some grass here with 2 outs.
Unlucky in that last AB. Fortune change could be needed here.
Genowine takes the first pitch fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. 0 for 2 in this game with a strikeout looking and a line out to Eddie Castillo over there at second base. Made a phenomenal play to leap in the air and pull that one. 0-1 here with 2 outs and Shadle on first. Tom Sox chasing 3. Genowine takes a cut and gets a piece of it, but goes into the glove of the catcher Duff, and it's 0-2. Rivers, the 3rd Express pitcher to be used in this one after the starter Coe just went 1 2/3 innings. Chadwell came in and went 2, and it's been Rivers ever since. Here's the 0-2 on Genuine. Swings and lines it up the middle for a base hit. Shadle will make the turn at second and then hold up as Douglas gets it back into the infield, and so Genuine aboard here with a 2-out single.
Yeah, bound to happen. Just a high contact guy and kind of got unlucky in his last 2 ABs. Got struck with a pretty disgusting off-speed pitch from Dawson Coe, that froze him, and then from Chadwell put a good piece on it, and Castillo robbed him. Was bound to get a hit here and delivers to keep the line moving with 2 outs.
Puts 2 on here for Lee Sowers, who represents the tying run in this one. Sowers had a good game reaching in both of his at-bats, first on a walk and then on a single. Haven't really been a lot of pitches hardly hit by any team, really, with the exception of a couple deep flyouts. But you just feel like sooner or later something's got to give here. First pitch to Sowers is taken outside for ball 1. Lee, a guy who's been with this team for most of the season. Him and Hargett joined the team after UNC exited the NCAA tournament. And Sowers pops this one up into left center field. It will be the left fielder McCarter to make the catch to retire the side. Nice job by Rivers working out of the jam, and that ends the 5th here for the Sox, still trailing in this one 5-2. Beginning of the 6th here at Show Airport Field, as 8-9-1 are due up here for the Express, as Strasburg leads this one 5-2. Just a handful of innings away from grabbing their VBL title. For the Tom Sox, this is make or break here. After coming up short in Game 1 yesterday, now on home field advantage, just trying to send this one back to Strasburg tomorrow. Luke Crater returns to the mound to face Logan Duff. The first pitch to him is over the plate for strike 1. Duff in the game 0 for 1 with the hit by pitch, which came in the 2nd inning, followed by a fly out to Will Genuine in the 4th. Crater, this will be his first full inning of work here, as he just tries to keep the Strasburg lead where it is. Second pitch to Duff is lined out into center field, and that will find the grass for a leadoff single. Langley comes to get that one back in the infield, and good work there by Duff getting that one out into center.
Yeah, good piece of hitting right there. Got the fastball he was looking for. Put a good swing on it. Back up the middle. And a leadoff runner is aboard in what is now 3 out of the 6 innings offensively for Strasburg.
Brings the 9-hitter Brooks Henderson to the plate here with nobody out. Henderson in this one 1 for 2 with an RBI single and a ground out. Crater just trying to roll a ground ball here as the first pitch misses inside for ball 1.
That's been a spot that really hasn't gotten called. Got to attack outside with Rochelo Schultheis' zone. That inside heater just really hasn't been a spot he's been liking today.
1-0 here from Luke. Swung on and missed on the heater once again. 1-on-1 here on Henderson. Got Duff on first, not a steal threat necessarily. As Crater deals, that ball fouled towards the right side. Hargett or Luderman won't give chase.
Good pitch execution right there from Crater. Beat him to the inside with the fastball that time. A defensive swing had to be put on that from Henderson. Good strike 2 pitch.
1-2 here with nobody out. Infield in double play depth with Duff on first. Here's the pitch from Crater. Curveball, caught him looking. Nice pitch there. He picks up his third strikeout of the game here, and that puts one down for the top of the order in Brady Bowles.
Beautiful back-to-back pitch sequencing right there from Crater. Inside fastball at, the mid-90s, low mid-90s, and then you go right off of that with a slider that's going to look the exact same out of the hand and just freezes Henderson, and is a very important out number 1 with the top of the order due up.
Time is called here by Bowles.
Nothing like a good old Virginia bug in your eye.
That is something I've noticed since being here for the summer in the Valley. I mean, there are plenty of bugs where I come from in the Midwest, but I feel like they just kind of attack you more down here.
Yeah, they like to be all up in your business out here. Not a fan.
First pitch to Bowles. Good bender. Finds the zone for strike 1. Bowles in this game 1 for 3 with a strikeout and a ground out, but also an RBI single. Infield remains where they are, just hunting for a ground ball here. Crater gets the sign. Duff still on first. And the 0-1. Curveball waved and missed. No balls, 2 strikes. This is a Strasburg team that has made the VBL championship for the first time since 2021, which they didn't end up winning 27 games that year. That was their 3rd championship since their inception in 2011. As the 0-2 from Crater is swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts for Luke here, as that puts things at 2 away with Paul Osting coming up to the plate.
Now 4 strikeouts for Luke Crater through the 6 batters he's faced. The strikeout stuff is absolutely working for Luke here tonight.
Osting in this game has reached in 2 of his 3 at-bats, a strikeout, sandwiching a walk and a single. And he will come to the plate here for at-bat number 4. 4th time through the order for the Express as the fastball misses below the zone for ball 1. Tom Sox have won 4 VBL championships. They're chasing their 5th. And they're a team that's in their 10th year of existence, getting the start in 2015. Crater takes a deep breath and fires on a 1-0. Fastball just misses, according to home plate umpire Landon Rochelo Schultheis, and it's 2-0. Osting, a switch hitter from Western Illinois. What can he do here with 2 outs? Duff staying put at first. Here's the pitch from Crater. Swung on and missed. Big cut there from Osting, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, that's a violent hack right there from Osting. Kind of shocked he didn't make contact with it with how hard he swung out of his shoes for it.
A rising senior out of Louisville, Kentucky, digs in here, tries to regroup on a 2-1. Crater comes set, rocks back and forth, and fires. Fastball misses just off the outside corner. He's had a couple of competitive pitches in this at-bat, but not any getting the call here from the home plate umpire. And it's 3-1. Strasburg with the heart of the order coming up with Eddie Castillo and Landon Beaver. So Crater just trying to slam the door here in the 6th. Here's the pitch. Just outside. He continues to attack that outside corner, but not getting any help. And he surrenders a 2-out walk.
Yeah, Osting now reached in 3 of his 4 ABs here today. Pretty offensive clinic from him in the 2 spot, and it's super important for him to stay hot and, stay consistent at the plate for them with the two guys, even the three guys who hit behind him, in Castillo, Beaver, and McCarter.
It's now 5 walks given up by these Tom Sox pitchers against the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the lineup. As the first pitch to Castillo misses outside for ball 1. Castillo has walked twice. Landon Beaver has walked once, and Osting has walked twice as well. We talked about it earlier, just how when you throw as hard as Crater does and you have as much movement as he has, the walks can be an issue. It's only his first, though, of the night. He's behind 1-0 on Castillo. Here's the pitch, and curveball bounces in front of the plate, but Clayton keeps it in front of him. Make it 2-0.
Good block right there from Clayton behind the plate in a big moment that I'm sure is gonna help the Sox out with by the end of this Castillo at bat.
Castillo, one of the most dangerous hitters in the Valley, hit .379 this year for the Express with 7 home runs as the 2-0 is fouled straight back. He's continued his production into the playoffs. That average only sitting at .222 heading into this game, but 4 RBIs and 5 walks as well. The 2-1 count here with 2 outs. 5-2. Sox trying to keep the Strasburg lead at bay. Crater deals on a 2-1. Good curveball. Nicks the zone, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs.
And that pitch is absolutely working. You might even go back to it right here. The fastball has life to it, of course, but that curveball's very pretty out of his right hand.
Here's the 2-2. High chopping ground ball. It's gloved by Nias. On the run, he throws over to first to retire Castillo. So that gets Crater out of the inning. He strands a pair and sends things to the bottom of the 6th here. Sox still chasing 3. Back here, bottom 6 and the top of the order due up here for the Tom Sox. They need to start getting some runs because they only have 4 innings left to work here, chasing 5-2. Davis Rivers back to the mound, and he deals a first pitch ball to Perry Hargett, who has had a pretty solid day. He's reached in all 3 of his at-bats. He's got a single, an RBI walk, and on that wonky fielder's choice back in the 4th. Here's the 1-0. Misses inside. Did it get a piece of him? No, it did not. Hargett had to do his best to get out of the way there. 2-0.
And with Perry Hargett, you had briefly mentioned that kind of adjustment in his swing. He did do a full swing fix this summer, something that UNC wanted him to work on. And he kind of just recently, as of about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, finally got to a comfortable spot with it.
Fouls that one straight back to make it 2-1. Yeah, him and Sowers are two freshmen that still got a significant amount of playing time with UNC, and with a program that prestigious, it really shows the potential that the Tar Heel coaches see in them. As the 2-1 from Hargett is popped into the glove of Duff, and it's 2-2.
And kind of beat him on the high fastball there. That's the downside of having your hands start low. It's hard to get them back up to meet a fastball at the top of the zone, like you saw right there.
2-2 here with nobody out on Hargett. Does Rivers go back to the fastball? Hargett fouls it away on the off speed. You know, for a guy who's 6 foot 190, you know, Hargett's pretty well built, but he has probably more power than you would think. And although the results haven't quite yielded themselves here in the Valley this season, it just it amazes us every single day, day in, day out. He's hitting the ball pretty hard. As the 2-2 is fouled straight back once more.
Yeah, and you can see him maybe, I mean, as an outfielder, you obviously want to rely on the speed that he has. And I think if you give him another year or two, considering he's just a sophomore or a rising sophomore, give him an extra year or two, put on a couple of pounds, another 10 pounds of muscle, and he can start regularly hitting home runs.
Here's the pitch. Hargett fouls it straight back a third time. It's a long at-bat here. Perry giving Rivers his money's worth with the top of the order following him. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Good slider from Rivers. Able to K Hargett, and there's one away.
And finally stopped trying to go beat him with the fastball. Dropped down to the slider. Beautiful location right there from Rivers.
First strikeout of the night for Rivers here as Langley steps up to the plate.
It's the first strikeout for the Sox since the second inning. And, you know, we were talking about, you and I earlier, kind of in between innings, about trying to figure out who struck out the least. It's the Tom Sox this season across the Valley, and they just go on those stretches where they really don't strike out throughout the course of a game, and it just allows you to put the ball in play, allows chaos to happen, and that's what's allowed the Sox to thrive so much this year.
It's a testament to the offensive identity for the Tom Sox, which has really, I think, developed as the season goes on. As the second pitch to Langley is popped up in shallow left. McCarter is closer for it, and it is dropped by the shortstop Bowles. Moving into second is Langley with good base running, and it will be ruled a double here as there were 3 express in the area. It was Brady Bowles who tried to make a Omar Vizquel over the head catch, but he wasn't able to haul it in, and now Langley in scoring position.
And you know, making the call out there from left field, or making the call out there as a shortstop, ranging back into left field, he probably has the worst angle on that. I think McCarter's got to understand that situation, and he's going to have the better play on the ball, even if he might not be as close. He's always coming in, and that's going to give you the better angle. Should have been his call and his play to make.
Off the bat, it looked like that ball was going to drift, maybe not into foul territory fully, but enough to where Henderson could make a play on it, but it kept moving out towards left center. But ultimately, it should have been McCarter's ball. Soroy takes inside, not too different from the first pitch he saw, but it's 1-1. Soroy in this game, a couple of outs to Douglas out in center field and a single. He's got a chance here to dig into this express lead. 1-1 count here with 1 out. Rivers looks back. There goes Langley. Pitch is taken for a strike, and there's no throw. Langley swipes third base here, and it's 1-2.
And just a beautiful steal off of Rivers right there. Had him completely perfectly timed up. Had a beautiful jump. And to get no throw on a steal down to third, even with the righty at the plate, is that's just you know, just a caveat on just how good that jump was and how fast Kyle Langley is on the base paths.
So now Soroy's job becomes easier. Here's the 1-2, and Soroy fouls it straight back. Middle infield of Castillo and Bowles are playing pretty far apart from each other. Leaves a lot of room up the middle. And if there's anything that Jackson Soroy has taught us in the second half of the season, it's that he can hit the ball just about anywhere. Can he find a spot to score Langley? Here's the 1-2. Soroy swings and misses. He will run to first. Duff will throw over to complete the strikeout. And that puts 2 outs on the board here for Brock Clayton.
Just a lot of lateral movement on that. Similar kind of end to the at-bat that we saw from Perry Hargett. Just fouling off a couple of fastballs and not really expecting that slider to work its way in there. A lot of late break on it. Good pitch execution right there from Rivers. And the lefties have kind of been a problem for Rivers so far. We'll have to deal with another one in Brock Clayton right here.
Jackson Soroy has only struck out once in this playoffs in the Valley before that previous at-bat. He's a guy who, although his average did not start off high, he has been increasingly resisting going down by way of the K, so that adds to an impressive out there from Rivers. But now we'll get a mound visit here by the catcher Duff before he faces Brock Clayton, who has had a frustrating day, 0 for 3 with a strikeout, a pop-out, and a ground-out.
If somebody's due on this Sox roster, just might be Brock Clayton one more time.
He gets his matchup here with a righty. Langley still on third. He reached from a 1-out double and then stole third, and now is just 90 feet away from scoring. Here's the first pitch to Clayton. He swings and lines that one into right center field, and that is going to score him. Clayton will round first and go back, but it is an RBI single and 5-3, and he was due, and now he gets his hit.
Yeah, just good piece of hitting right there from Brock Clayton. Got the fastball, and it's the same swing that he puts on the majority of pitches that he gets. Got that one middle cut fastball out into left center. Couldn't stretch it to extra bases with the arm of, I'm not sure exactly who threw that one in between Douglas and Osting, but a good throw nonetheless, held up Clayton at first.
First pitch to Patrick Nias is willed out into left center field, and that's going to drop as well. Clayton will make the turn. Douglas cuts it off, and there's first and second here with 2 outs after the 2-out single from Nias, and all of a sudden here, Hudson Luderman represents the go-ahead run.
And just more hard contact off the bat of Pat Nias. He's a true, like, kind of 3-outcome guy. He's either hitting a home run, it's hard contact, or he's probably striking out. And, you know, I'll take the hard contact any day of the week. He's done that, you know, once or twice in just about every game kind of down the stretch here. Just a loud hit off of his bat, whether it's to right field, to left field, over a fence somewhere. Just loud contact from Pat Nias. The potential is so there for him.
First pitch to Luderman just avoids hitting him as it misses inside. Luderman 1 for 3 here with a single, a reach on an error, and a pop-out. And they're going to throw back into second, and Clayton in there in time. You can see somebody riding a bike with light-up wheels down the warning track. It is on the other side of the fence, but from where we're sitting, it doesn't look like it. The 1-0, Luderman pops it up. Will this stay in here? Beaver near the dugout. He just has enough room to make the catch. So unfortunate circumstance for the Sox, but they do get a run back and cut the Express lead to 2 on the RBI single from Brock Clayton. We're heading to the 7th here, 5-3, Strasburg in front. Welcome back here to the show as 7th inning is underway here. It starts with Landon Beaver, but he's in a lefty-lefty matchup now with Nico Janssens on the mound for the Sox.
Yeah, for Nico Janssens, making his second appearance of the playoffs, had the chance to close things out against Stanton and delivered a pretty big shutdown performance. Gave up 1 run in the bottom of the 9th inning to the Braves, but other than that was pretty much locked down on the mound. Mixed in a pair of strikeouts as well, so some dominant stuff. We'll see if he can replicate again tonight.
Janssens deals outside for ball 1, and he was part of that really good all-around performance from the Sox pitching staff in that game versus Stanton in the probably felt like over 100-degree heat. Janssens got the back half of it with 3 innings and retired the final couple outs. Works a nice slider there to get the swing and the miss from Beaver, and it's 1-2. That was a game that, I mean, it was, from my view, it didn't really seem like if that game was during the regular season, it would have been played, as the slider misses inside. But just the way that the season has kind of crumbled with, well, the way the cookie has crumbled of this season with the different games being delayed and now kind of on a tight schedule, it almost had to happen.
Yeah.
It's a 2-2 count here from Janssens to Beaver. Here's the pitch, and Landon hits one right at the first baseman, Luderman, and there's the first out here in the 7th.
Yeah, for Nico on the mound, you're going to get, it's a very aggressive fastball. It works in on you quickly, especially as a left-handed batter. It's got some arm side run to it, and he's got a good slider that works off of it as well. Good stuff, good velo. Played some baseball over at Florida last year, but just kind of needs to hone in on that control.
First pitch misses upstairs to Jake McCarter. And you mentioned how he played at Florida. So did his catcher, Brock Clayton. Both of them now in the portal, or were in the portal. Janssens committed to the College of Central Florida very recently. So these are 2 guys, Florida natives, both of them, that have definitely spent some time playing together. As the third pitch is swung on and missed here. So with 1 out, Janssens looks to climb back into this at-bat against McCarter. With 1 out, here's the pitch from Nico. Swing and a miss. 2 strikes here. As the Sox just try to get us to stretch time here with the lead. Just down by 2. Janssens out of the wind. Here he deals. Just below the zone.
A very good pitch. I think if you're going to try to go with that slider, either commit to the back door or to the back foot slider or go to the back door slider. Back door slider, you want to throw it for a strike. Back foot slider, bury it low and in.
3-2. Janssens. Did he go? Did McCarter? No, he did not. I'm sure the first base umpire had a better view than we did, but it did look like McCarter might have passed the base there, but instead it's a 1-out walk.
Good pitch execution. It's a good back foot fastball. I just kept running in and almost had the swing and miss. Thought he had the swing and miss. We were told otherwise, and it's a runner aboard.
So here's Mosley, who had a productive out in his last at-bat, bringing in a sacrifice fly with 1 out to center field. As the first pitch is a knuckling ground ball. That is a fair ball. Nias deep over there at third. Can't make the throw as it takes Luderman off the bag, as they'll rule that a single here. That was a smart play by Nias to keep that one in fair territory, as if he let it roll, it definitely would have just gone down the third base line, but unfortunate circumstance and results in Mosley's first hit of the game.
Yeah, just kind of a cue shot off the bat of the lefty, and genuinely not much that you could do if you're Pat Nias there. Tried to make the throw across the diamond, which you can always respect. And Huddy doing a good job to come off of the base to keep that one in front, not let it get into that bullpen corner down the right field line and add on some extra bases for the guys. But Nias truly making a last-ditch effort out there.
Brings up Jay Douglas here, the center fielder in the 7 spot. Will take his 4th at-bat of the game. That's Jose Roy getting warmed up over in the Strasburg pen as Douglas shows bunt, but he pulls back. 1-0 here from Janssens. Douglas in this game, a single in the 2nd, later scored a run. then grounded out and struck out. Runners on first and second here, 1 out, 1-0 count. Knee is playing in on the grass. Here's a pitch from Jansen's pop up. That will find foul ground, and it's 1-1.
Douglas just kind of has the twitch that you see a lot more in professional batters, just kind of the jumpiness at the plate that always can be on the pitch that you're throwing, and it just makes things really, really dangerous out here. Looks like there was a ball from maybe some kids playing out on the hill above left field that got into the field of play. So we'll get a quick little reset out here.
Douglas, the rising senior out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. If that rings any bells for you football fans, it's also where Jadeveon Clowney is from. Great NFL pass rusher, as that slider just misses below the zone. Douglas ahead in this count here with 1 out. Jansen's not really worrying about the runner on second. He deals on a 2-1. Inside corner, 2 balls, 2 strikes here against Douglas, who has been kind of a pesky out today. Definitely just adds to the immense talent that Strasburg has offensively. A really deep order. As the 2-2, Douglas just gets a piece of it and fouls it off towards his own dugout.
Not really sure how he got a piece of that one. Was way ahead on the slider. Managed to just get something on it to keep himself alive. And not just a pesky out to get, but also a hard double play to turn. So smart defense for the Sox to see what they do here.
2-2, Nico deals, and that ball gets away from Clayton, and both runners will advance 90 feet. Will go down as a wild pitch. Jansen's has that big sweeping motion, and sometimes that slider has sweeping motion to it as well, and that takes away the possibility of the double play.
Yeah, and not the pitch or the outcome that you were looking for Nico Jansen's. You're a pitch away from a strikeout and getting 2 outs on the board with runners on first and second, and now you've got second and third with just a 1 out and in danger of walking Douglas.
3-2, here's the pitch, and Nico gets called strike 3. Douglas was already a couple steps towards first base. He can't believe it, but a big out there from Jansen's, and that puts 2 on the board here for Logan Duff.
Yeah, big execution right there for his first strikeout of the day. And that's happened now. I think that's the 3rd strikeout looking that we've seen for Strasburg today on some full count pitches where they've been none too pleased with the call.
So infield moves back here with 2 away. Just feels like with every called looking strikeout, as that ball fouled away by Duff, the express hitters get more and more frustrated. And to be fair, the home plate umpire, Rachelo Schultheis, definitely sells it. Every time he calls a strike, not just strike 3, he always takes a step back to then announce that it is a strike, which you don't really see all the time from every home plate umpire. Of course, every blue is going to have a different strike call, but with the guy behind the plate today, it can be a little bit hard to decipher from everybody in the room. It's an 0-1 count here on Logan Duff, who's reached twice in 3 tries with a hit by pitch and a single. He also has a fly out. He's got 2 men in scoring position. Here's the 0-1 fastball just off the outside corner, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Jansen's the 3rd Tom Sock pitcher to be used in this game. That hits the zone to make it 1-2. Started with Brandon Eldridge, who went 4+. Then Luke Crater went 1 2/3. And then now it's been Jansen's. 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. Nico kicks and fires. Outside for ball 2. Wasn't happy with himself there.
And with his super aggressive motion, getting a baseball switch here to try to maybe get him one with some more seams on it and allow him to really rip down on that slider a lot more, have better control, and also have better break at the same time.
2-2 with 2 outs. Runners on second and third. Jansen's versus Duff. Lefty kicks and deals. Inside corner, called strike 3. Jansen's picks up his 2nd strikeout of the inning, both looking and that gets the Sox out of the inning. It's time to stretch here at Show Airport Field. Charlottesville still trails by 2. Nine more outs left here for the Tom Sox as 7, 8, 9 are due up in the bottom of the 7th. It will start with Tanner Shadle against Jose Roig here, newly into the game for the Express. And for the Tom Sox here, it is do or die time. They're able to shave off 1 run last inning from a RBI single courtesy of Brock Clayton, and now it's up to Tanner Shadle and company to try to crawl them closer to a tie ball game or maybe even the lead.
And yeah, for Jose Roig this season, it's been good work through the regular season. Through 7 games, an ERA just over 2. And in his 1 appearance he made in the playoffs, it was against Purcellville. Gave up a run through 2 innings of work, so definitely hittable. Sox got to jump on him early.
1-0 misses inside. Rivers ends up going 2 1/3 innings, allowing 1 earned run, along with striking out 2 batters and only walking 1. As the slider misses outside for ball 3. Tanner Shadle in this game has walked all 3 times, and he's on the cusp of doing it for a 4th time here, as Roig hasn't hit the zone yet. 3-0 count. Do we get a swing here from Tanner? We do not. It is his 4th walk of the ball game here. That puts the tying run aboard here with Will Genowine coming up to the plate.
Yeah, just, another worked at bat right there from Tanner Shadle. And this is the first time he's done it to lead off an inning. So maybe this can spark something. His run represents something to cut into the lead, and obviously Genowine now up to the plate with representing the game tying score. Here's
Genowine, first time facing Roig as he takes way outside for ball one. Interesting note, Tanner Shadle has been the first walk issued by all 4 pitchers in this game for the Express. So something about him just makes these Express pitchers avoid the zone here.
It's the arm sleeve. It's a scary arm sleeve.
It's probably the bowling skills, I would say, as the 1-0 to Will is on the inner half for strike 1. If you're not picking up on an obscure reference there, we went bowling with Tanner Shadle and a couple other players early in the season, and he absolutely destroyed us.
Yeah. Very good bowler.
See if he can roll across the bases here as the 1-1 is inside on Will, who singled in his last at-bat in the 5th, almost had another single in the 3rd. And we'll look to get another hit here in the 7th. Sox have left multiple runners on base in 5 of their 6 innings at the plate here, as Roig throws back at first. Shadle in there safely, but they've left a runner on in each inning, and since the first, it's been 3-2-2-2. And now, what does the 7th inning hold? Here's the pitch. Genowine swings and lines one into right field. That will find the grass. Shadle will advance over to third. Genowine stays put at first. It's runners on the corners here. Second single of the game for Genowine, and now Sowers comes up to the plate representing the go-ahead run.
And that's what he's doing here in Charlottesville. It's providing base hits, providing good at-bats, and being just an all-around great guy in Will Genowine. Nobody really who you want to succeed, you want to see succeed more than Will Genowine. Every interaction you have with him, he's a super positive guy, always super supportive of all the work we do around the team, and we couldn't be happier to see him on first base right there. Runners on the corners. Lee Sowers the go-ahead run.
That is the 9th Tom Sock hit in this game. They have 3 runs to show for it. Here's the first pitch to Lee Sowers. He takes up and in for ball 1. Sowers has had a productive game, a walk, a single, and a flyout. And he's in a big spot here, trying to help claw the Tom Sox closer in this one. The 1-0. Genowine thought about going. Pitches inside again. An eagle eye from Lee Sowers as Rochelo Schultheis is starting to hear it from the Strasburg bullpen and the fans that are here. You gotta be better, says someone in the Express dugout. He didn't even look over.
Yeah, no, it's just he hasn't called inside strikes all game long. It's been a known fact that he hasn't called them all game long. It's not going to change right here.
2-0 to Lee. There goes the runner. It gets away from the catcher Duff. He can't find it. Shadle will score easily. Genowine over to third, and he's in with a feet first slide. It's 5-4 on the pass ball. And just like that, the tying run is 90 feet away.
And hey, baseball, however you can get it, right? That's what the Sox do better than just about everybody else. It's scoring runs whenever you can, however you can. And after a strike doesn't get called, the one goes, I think it was off the face mask, I guess, of Logan Duff, maybe off the top of his glove. I'm not sure what the conversation. I think it hit off of Rochelo Schultheis, actually, so I think a little high fastball there, maybe hit off the glove of Duff and off the face mask of Rochelo Schultheis. Not a good look after, you know, the dugout gets upset at you for blowing a call. You then take one off the face mask. But he seems to be just about all right. And now the Sox are in business. Genowine, I've never seen run harder. He ran so hard he literally like tossed his helmet off with how like aggressive his head was swinging from side to side as he broke from second to third a little late, not realizing that the ball had gotten so far away that Duff had no clue where it was.
Releasing his inner Bryce Harper there with that one, taking the helmet off mid-flight as they'll check out Rochelo Schultheis over there right in front of the plate. It looked like that ball did hit the glove of Duff at some point. He looked up first, then he looked to the right. It was completely the other direction as it really wound up closer to the Strasburg batter circle, as they're still going to take a look at him. But assuming everything stays put here, this is a prime opportunity for Sowers, who really just has to get one into the outfield for it to likely score Will over there at third.
Yeah, with nobody out, really anything in play should do that job. I don't think you'll see the infield come in here. I don't know if that would make sense from a strategic point of view to really try to play in with a one-run lead, but I feel like you kind of want to focus more on the out, kind of accepting that the run's going to come in unless there's a strikeout or a trio of strikeouts. But we'll see how Strasburg lines up defensively for it. Genowine's got a lot of speed over at third, too, so anything chopped kind of on the ground on the infield, which is one of the things Sowers does pretty well, and just kind of put the ball in play, should score Genowine.
We also saw in a pretty critical moment in the 8th inning yesterday, it was Perry Hargett who was breaking for the plate with one out, and I believe it was runners on second and third, and they were able to, Strasburg was able to get him at the plate. So that, I'm sure, is in the back of everyone's mind here. Rochelo Schulteis seems like he's going to be okay here. And so we'll be back and ready to play baseball. And we're entering what was already exciting, but the excitement has only increased here with Lee Sowers checking in. It'll be a roll pass ball that scored Shadle from third. And now the tying run is 90 feet away with nobody out. Infield stays back here for Strasburg. Here's the 2-0. Lee taking all the way, and it's in there for strike one. Count is 3-1 with Genowine still on third and nobody out. But Strasburg is essentially conceding this run here with the infield back. Here's the deal, and Sowers fouls it away to make it full.
That foul ball is brought to you by First Heritage Mortgage.
As we've mentioned throughout the game and throughout the season, Sowers has been a guy who walks just about as much as anyone on the team, great patience, but right now he's got to put the ball in play. It's a full count with nobody out. Here's the pitch. And Sowers takes upstairs for ball four. Third base umpire says he held, and the runners are on the corners here with the top of the order in Perry Hargett. Good work by Lee Sowers, not going after the high fastball. So that gets the Express bullpen going as a right-hander will start to warm up. The third baseman, Henderson, will play closer in on the grass. Now with the runners on the corners. Here's the first pitch from Roy. Hargett takes up and in for ball one. Perry in this game struck out in his last at-bat, but also had an RBI and a walk and a single and a fielder's choice. In a huge spot here with his team down by down 5-4. Here's the 1-0. Hargett swings, lines one into right field, and that ball is down. We are tied here in game two. Perry Hargett with an RBI single, and it's all fives here in the seventh.
And we were just waiting for Perry Hargett to finally get the hits to start falling. He's got the contact. He's got the bat to ball skills. He's got the power. And it was just a matter of time before things finally got rolling. And nobody could be happier maybe than Coy Tomlin out there, who just gave Perry Hargett's mom a very big hug after she got done recording that base hit.
And the Strasburg coach out of the dugout here, and this might spell the end here for Roy Gez. A short outing, but not a very fruitful one, as he doesn't end up recording an out. Around here, we call that a yes hitter, and he will exit responsible for two more runners on base. Strasburg going to the bullpen, but it's a whole new ball game here in the seventh. Things all tied up at 5. Welcome back here as the bottom of the 7th is getting interesting. The Sox have already rallied for 2. Strasburg has pulled their reliever Jose Roig and brought in Braden Hutchinson here with nobody out and 2 on to face Kyle Langley. The infield is in here for the Express with Hargett on first and Sowers on second. Langley chooses not to square. First pitch is spiked, and it's 1-0.
It's back-to-back days now on the bump for Braden Hutchinson. He came in last night and gave up an unearned run through an inning and a third. Gave up the last run of the 5th in that 5-run 5th inning for the Sox, and then pitched a clean 6th inning. See what he has in store for us tonight.
He looks back and deals a 1-0. Langley squares. It's a beautiful bunt down the first base line. Duff calls him off over to first. Not in time. Hargett's going to try to score, and he is out at the plate. That was Sowers who tried to get there with aggressive base running. And Duff had to reposition himself quickly, but they do get an out on the board, although Langley is safe at first.
Shortstop, Jackson.
Gotta say there, with nobody out, sending Hargett there is an aggressive decision, but maybe not the wisest one.
It seemed to me, after replay review, that I'm just kind of looking back on the stream right now, seems like he made that decision by himself. No motion from Randy Tomlin at third, and it's now an out on the board.
Here's the first pitch to Jackson Soroy, which is a strike. Essentially, it just puts an out on the board. Now the Sox are the same place that they are, first and second. It is a sac bunt, though, for Langley. Here's the 0-1 here with 1 out. Soroy hits a fly ball on the infield. This is the second baseman, Castillo, that will make the catch for out number 2. So an inning that had a lot of promise now has faded away here. This game's still tied at 5, but you can't help but think this would have been bases loaded with nobody out with Soroy at the plate. And now instead, after the Soroy pop-out, it's first and second with 2 outs and Clayton at the plate.
Yeah, not always a fan of the what-if scenario, but kind of hard to not play devil's advocate here.
There's the first pitch. Clayton swinging away, as he often does, and he grounds it foul. Oh, and 1 count here with 2 outs. Clayton, who knocked in the RBI single last inning. Can he knock in the go-ahead one here? Outside for ball 1.
Just kind of replicate that same exact swing he put together last at bat for the single into the right center field gap. Just search for that fastball kind of on the inner half. You're going to get some sort of fastball, just got to jump on it.
Here's the pitch. Clayton takes outside, 2-1. Patrick Nias will follow him, and if necessary, Hudson Luderman due up after Brock. Charlottesville cleanup hitter in a big spot here. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss by Clayton, and it's 2-2. You got Hargett at second and Langley at first. Both of them can run, so a ball in the gap would get at least 1 home. It's a 2-2 count with 2 outs here in the 7th. There goes Hargett. Clayton with that check swing. It gets over the glove of Hutchinson, having to charge his bulls. Hargett was trying to score, and he's out at home. He never stopped running, and the Sox burned 2 runs at home. Wow. What would have been a surefire infield single turns into the second out made at the plate, but the Sox do tie it at 5 going into the 8th. Nico Jansen's back out to the mound here for the beginning of the 8th in a whole new ball game with things tied up at 5. Brooks Henderson steps up to the plate here to lead off the 8th. Henderson, this game, a strikeout, a RBI single, and a ground out. Jansen's working quickly, and second pitch lined foul into the screen. It's a 1-1 count.
It's hard to not talk about the resilience of the Sox squad. I mean, regardless of the 2 putouts at home that inning, it's just, you know, they crawl back from just about anything. There's no lead right now that really feels safe from the opponent's perspective. You can, you know, work your way back in from anything, and they're proving it here.
And this time, as opposed to yesterday, the Sox will have the last laugh if this game remains tied, as the 1-2 is taken outside. But it is a good point. There's just been so many examples of the Tom Sox coming back from deficits and overcoming a lot of things that haven't gone their way. And that doesn't even cover just being down by multiple runs. I mean, there's been 15-some rainouts this season. There's been 2 games that have been postponed due to heat, and the Tom Sox still rolled through. They played 40 games in the regular season, and here they are, as another pitch fouled away by Henderson. Not that the rainouts haven't affected other teams as well, but at the end of the summer here, there's only 2 teams standing right now, and the Sox are one of them.
You know, an additional game being played as well for Charlottesville, not just in the regular season. They played 40 compared to the 39 for Strasburg, but you also have to add in the additional game being played in the playoffs.
Here's the full count from Jansen's. Called strike 3. He continues to get him on the inside corner. Henderson is not happy. He had some words for the home plate umpire. And Jansen's picks up his 3rd consecutive strikeout looking.
Yeah, I've agreed with most of the calls. I do not agree with that one right there. That was a pretty egregious called strike right there. There are going to be some words from that Strasburg dugout and from the fans out there, I'm sure.
So here is Bowles, who will step in, takes a fastball upstairs for ball 1.
It's been a spot that has not been called a strike all day long on the inside. Low and in and ring him up. Not a pretty call right there.
Second pitch is taken for a strike. That was the 10th strikeout picked up by the Tom Sox pitching staff today.
3rd straight strikeout looking for Nico Jansen's.
The frustration has definitely mounted here for the Express, as the 1-1 is taken low and in for ball 2.
Looked pretty good to me.
Ashelo Schultheis back there hasn't really heard a ton from the Sox dugout. He's definitely heard it from the Express dugout, but I haven't even seen even a look over towards the Express out to the left. 2-1, Jansen's fires. Foul tip, strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Jansen shakes off the first one and comes set. He pitches out of the wind. Swinging a line drive out to right field. Hargett coming in. He slides. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. What a play by Perry Hargett out there. Bowles thought it was down for a hit, and they continue to hear it, do the umpires, but the first base umpire called him out, and there are 2 away.
I don't know how you can really argue that. If it didn't get past him, it's a hit. You got some argument from Bowles, who thought it was down, but you can't trap the ball while sliding like that. His glove's up in the air. If he didn't catch the ball, it's going to get behind him and get to the fence for a triple. There was no other outcome other than that being a catch, and I'm not sure what there is to really argue.
First pitch here to Osting is grounded towards second. Sowers, gloves, but can't make the play on it. It rolls into right field for a 2-out single. Sowers, a guy who plays really close to the second base bag, has to cover a lot of ground, was not able to make the play. And we will get time called here with 2 outs as Osting reaches.
Yeah, that's now the 4th time that Osting's reached today. A pair of walks and a pair of singles, so been having himself a night, been trying to be that that jump spark for Strasburg offensively, and all he's kind of done beyond his, 4 times getting on base has been 1 run scored.
So with 2 outs, up steps Eddie Castillo. Here's the first pitch from Jansen's. Fastball just misses off the outside corner. As you start to hear the groans from the Charlottesville bullpen. Those are not groans of discomfort. That's actually a groan of encouragement towards Jansen's on the mound. Osting on first with 2 outs. Second pitch hits the inside corner. I'm sure Castillo wasn't a fan of that one, and it's 1-1. 2 outs here in the 8th. Things all knotted up at 5. Jansen's comes set out of the stretch. Slider just inside. That seems to be a spot that Rochelo Schultheis has called a fair amount today, but that one just misses, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, that one might serve as the official makeup call for the miss, for the ring up a pair of batters ago.
2-1. Just off the outside corner. It's the second time Jansen's has gone to it, and the second time that it's been called a ball. Now it's 3-1 here with 2 away.
Now we're out of makeup calls.
Now it's all even. Landon Beaver lurks on deck here. Jansen's just trying to end the inning now. Here's the 3-1. Inside for ball 4. That one's for sure inside. And now there are 2 outs with 2 on for Beaver. Just the second walk surrendered by Jansen's.
And the third walk worked by Eddie Castillo. He's gone back and forth between getting out and walking. He was the first walk for Eldridge in the first inning and served as the walk for Luke Rader as well. Served as a walk for Luke Rader as well. And now Jansen's adds himself into the mix.
Jansen's versus Beaver, lefty-lefty matchup. First pitch is outside for ball 1. Beaver in this game with an RBI single, a walk, and a line out and a pop out. This is at bat number 5 for him. 2 runners on here. Jansen's trying to get out of the inning. Here's the 1-0. Beaver waves and misses, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
And a soft liner last time out against Nico for Beaver at the plate. Just kind of got his barrel ahead of a fastball and a pretty soft liner that was handled well by Luderman. Same outcome looking for right here for Nico Jansen's.
1-1. Beaver swings and misses, and Jansen's is 1 strike away. Two outs, 2 on, 1-2 count. Jansen's looks back at second and deals. Here's a ground ball right up the middle. It hits off of Jansen's. He will throw to first, and it is snared by Luderman, but he was off the bag, and it's an infield single. Boy, I think everyone held their breath as soon as Jansen's threw that ball, but everyone just moved station to station here, and that loads the bases with 2 outs. Randy Tomlin is out of the dugout, and he will cross the fair line, so he will.
Yeah, I think this can serve as an injury checkup to make sure Jansen's is doing okay after getting hit by that comebacker. And yeah, I mean, there was a collective gasp around the crowd after that one was thrown by Jansen's. It was going to be a close play no matter what, and he was already fading off balance, having already gotten hit by the ball. The adrenaline's running high, and Luderman just saved what could have been potentially 2 or 3 runs scored.
So that brings Jake McCarter to the plate with 2 outs. He swings and lines the first pitch into left field. Genuine going back near the wall, and that ball is foul. As indicated by the third base umpire, he put his 2 hands up and indicated to the left, but boy, off the bat, that looked like trouble as the Strasburg dugout and bullpen were about to lose it.
Wow. Thank you for that. Yeah, just curled its way around the foul pole, I guess. And there was a big old bat flip right there from McCarter. A little swing in there, and another life for Nico Jansen's.
1 gets away. Did it hit him? It did hit him. And the Express grabbed the lead on a hit by pitch. You can't make this stuff up, folks. 6-5, as Jansen, who was one strike away, now finds himself in a disaster scenario here. It will be an RBI, as Hudson Luderman will bring Jansen's a towel, as Brett Mosley will check in here with the bases juiced. This game has been the dictionary definition of dramatic. You had the near grand slam and then the hit by pitch. And now Strasburg pulls ahead. Here's the first pitch to Mosley, swung on and missed for an 0-1 count. This inning started with a backwards strikeout and then a line drive out made by Perry Hargett. Then single, walk, single, hit by pitch. Now it's 0-1 here with 2 outs and the Express ahead 6-5. Here's the pitch. Outside corner, strike 2. And Jansen's once again is 1 strike away. Here's the 0-2 from Nico, just outside with the slider. Mosley stays alive.
I like the idea right there. Go back to the slider. Might even throw another one right here. Bring it back maybe a touch closer. Not necessarily into strike territory where you can put it into play, but bury it low and away.
1-2 count, 2 outs. Nico deals. High chopper. Sowers comes in. He gloves it, throws over to first. Safe is the call. It's 7-5 as Mosley legs out an infield single.
And, I mean, for Jansen's, it's... You did your job in back-to-back at-bats against, or not even back-to-back, but in 2 at-bats against Beaver and Mosley. You got 2 pieces of soft contact, and they turn into infield singles. One that comes off of Jansen's himself, and that one is just in no man's land. No chance of a play for Lee Sowers on there, no matter how fast his transition is. And they put together 2 runs on the board here, and only 1 ball has left the infield today, and that's going to be the end of the line for Nico Jansen's.
I mean, you just go down the list of RBIs for the Express in this game. You have the infield, a couple infield singles from Brooks Henderson and Brady Bowles. You have a sacrifice fly. You have an RBI single from Landon Beaver that led to an error, which Mosley's sac fly was on. Then you have a hit by pitch and now an infield single. I mean, you talk about the strangest of ways that the Express have gotten their 7 runs in. It just has been quite a game.
And yeah, for a team that has so much power, for a team that puts so much pop into their bats, an outcome like this is just weird.
So Jansen's night is done. Ian White is in the game, and we will take a quick break and have the rest of the inning for you here from the show. And we are back here in the 8th inning. A lot to unpack here. Matthew Pierman is now the home plate umpire, as Landon Rochelo Schultheis, during the break, it was assumed that his health is not in good enough standing to continue, as he was hit by that ball. And Ian White is also now in the game here with the bases loaded and 2 outs. 7-5. Here's the first pitch from Ian White to Jay Douglas. It misses inside for ball 1. Just to recap things, Strasburg took the lead on an RBI hit by pitch, and then Brett Mosley brought in a run on an infield single. There's still 2 outs in the inning here. Here's the pitch from White. Here's a pop-up. Should be playable. It's Nias near the line. He makes the catch. And so that puts an exclamation point on a very interesting half inning. Strasburg takes the lead 7-5. Now it's time for the Tom Sox to respond on the other side of the break. Bottom of the 8th here, and it is crunch time for the Sox. Down by 2, Davis Budd is in the game for the Express, making his 2nd appearance of the playoffs. Made 11 appearances in the regular season, had a 1.42 ERA. It's the first pitch to Patrick Nias' chopped foul. And so after a wild top of the 8th inning, there was a break in the action here, enough for the Tom Sox to reset their concentration.
Yeah, and for Bud this year, that sub 2 ERA. And his one outing against the Tom Sox was one of his 2 wins of the year. Obviously, way back on June 12th, a completely different ball club. He goes 4 1/3, gives up 2 hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts. So a great outing for him. Probably his best of the year. And he's going to have to do that again to take this team down here tonight.
1-1, good pitch in the zone to make it 1-2. He allowed 1 run on 2 hits, but did get the save versus Purcellville in the playoffs 2 days ago, as the 1-2 to Nias misses inside for ball 2. So if you're just joining us, Matthew Pierman is now behind home plate, as Landon Rochelo Schultheis was hit with a pitch and was taken out of the game. So now there's a new home plate umpire, as Nias hits a high chopper to third, gloved by Henderson. He throws over to first to get the out here, the first of the inning in the 8th.
Yeah, just been a chaotic game all across the board. The Sox struck first, put up a run in the bottom of the first inning, then 2 runs came for Strasburg in the top of the 2nd. The Sox tied it back up. Strasburg took a 5-2 lead. The Sox climbed right back, knotted it up at 5 in the bottom of the 5th, and then 2 runs in the top of the 8th inning, and the chaos continues.
So here's Hudson Luderman with 1 out. He's had a couple of pop-outs after reaching in his first 2 at-bats. faces Bud here for the first time this evening. First pitch way inside. Luderman has to duck, and it's ball one. There's been so much tension in this game, especially you've seen it. The Strasburg dugout has been very animated with Rochelo Schultheis, but now that he's out of the game and Pierman is in, it's going to be a different dynamic. They also have the lead, so they're going to be less inclined to complain as the 1-0 misses upstairs. 2 balls, no strikes.
And yeah, another thing to note is Perriman's going to control this game a little bit more, be a little bit harder on the umpire, or a little bit harder on the dugouts overall.
2-0, and Luderman hits a high chopper to third. That ball will go foul. In the top of the 8th, Jake McCarter was probably within inches of a game-breaking grand slam, but it was just foul. After that, he was hit by a pitch on the very next throw before Brett Mosley brought in the second RBI on an infield single. Just Strasburg has not shown the power that they usually have, as look out, Luderman's bat goes flying after he swings at it. It's going to be 2-2 here with 1 out. As a brief conversation between Duff and Luderman is mediated by Pierman. And we saw it too with Eduardo Castillo, who had some words for Brock Clayton as he scored on that hit by pitch. And just, this is what you expect from a championship game between two teams that have overcome their fair share of adversity. Here's the 2-2 to Hudson Luderman with 1 out. Bud deals. Luderman hits a high chopper. This one also going to third. Henderson picks it, throws over to first. Safe is the call. Luderman able to leg out an infield single. Henderson has had to charge on a lot of balls today, but not able to make that play, and the tying run comes to the plate.
Yeah, and it's just more unconventional baseball, more infield hits, just kind of splattered across the board for both sides here today. That's a rough play to make if you're Henderson over at third. Props to him for making that, within half a step on that slow chopper down the line. But Huddy works out the single, and Tanner Shadle's the tying run now.
So here is Shadle. He's been the walker today, 4 of them. And now he faces another new pitcher. The first pitch from Bud. Good curveball. Bends into the zone. We haven't really seen Shadle even take the bat off his shoulder because a lot of the pitches he's faced just haven't been very competitive. But he's in a big spot here to swing the twig. Here's the 0-1. He goes after the curveball, and it's no balls, 2 strikes.
Kind of pitching him backwards right there, back-to-back curveballs to kick off the at-bat.
0-2 count, 1 out. Luderman with a moderate lead at first. Here's the pitch from Bud. Shadle swings and misses, blows him away with the fastball, and there's 2 away.
Yeah, just said he pitched him backwards to start off the AB, pitched him backwards to end off that at-bat. Back-to-back curveballs, then you fire up the upstairs heater. Good pitch sequencing right there against a guy who reached base 4 times today. And now Genowine, who's been definitely one of the better guys at the plate for the Sox today, too.
So here is Genowine. He's singled in his past 2 at-bats. With Luderman on first. A big at-bat nonetheless. Swing and a miss from Will. Evan Tavares is on deck in place of Lee Sowers should the inning continue.
And he doesn't have to take over for him defensively unless he steps up to the plate. Otherwise, the substitution's not made, and Sowers can go back out to second.
0-1 count with 2 outs. Luderman on first, Genowine at the plate. Sox down by 2. Here's the pitch missing outside badly by Bud. Well, Genowine, a guy who had a phenomenal season at Sewanee and then joined this team late after the All-Star break, or right near it. And he has been in a platoon with Walker Buchanan in that left field spot primarily. Does he have a big moment in him here? Here's the 1-1. Genowine takes upstairs. 2-1.
It's a great leave by Genowine right there. Just disciplined take. Up and out a touch. Lay off of that stuff, make him work down to you in the zone.
2-1, 2 outs, man on. Genowine takes up and out. 3 balls, 1 strike.
Make him work himself down to you. And that's the benefit of this lefty on righty matchup. You don't have to be as afraid of that curveball because it's got to come down into your barrel.
3-1 here. Big pitch coming up. Bud deals. Genuine swings and misses. Can't quite catch up to the fastball, but he's got one more strike to work with here as the count runs full.
And you got to go fastball here. He's been late on back-to-back, or late on the first one that he saw, late on that one right there. And if you're Genuine, you've got to be on time with that fastball. You can notice the curve out of his hand. Be on time with the heater.
Luderman will go on the full count. Here's the pitch from Bud. Genuine takes outside, ball 4. He tried to catch him looking on the outside corner, couldn't hit it. And Evan Taveras will step into the box as Logan Duff will go out and meet with Bud on the mound. It's the first walk issued by him in the game. So it will be Evan Taveras here in a huge at-bat with 2 outs in the 8th.
Yeah, no bigger time. He was successful against Strasburg last night, a pair of doubles on the road, and gets the nod here to deliver in a big spot. And this is another thing with the Sox and kind of with Randy Tomlin's style of managerial baseball is he doesn't care about matchups in terms of righty on righty, lefty on lefty. When it comes to the guys at the plate, he's going to put the guy out there who he thinks is going to provide and give the Sox the best chance to come through in a clutch moment like this. You saw that he put 2 lefties in the batting order when they've been platooning with 2 right-handers against the lefty to start, and then you get the pinch hitter right here in the righty in Taveras.
So here is Taveras. The first pitch up and in for ball 1. A catcher who's been platooning with Anderson French and Brock Clayton, another one of those Florida catchers. He comes from Miami. He has shown an ability to swing the bat. Here he is in the pinch hit opportunity. The 1-0 swung on and missed.
Fastball definitely sneaks up on you. You saw late swings right there from both Genuine and Taveras, so it's not just that it's fast, but it definitely comes out of his hand at a pretty sneaky angle that really just catches up to you.
1-1, here's the pitch from Bud. Line drive into right field. Oster over, he's not gonna make the catch. Taveras into second, coming in to score is Luderman. Genuine rounding third, there will be no throw. Evan Taveras with a game-tying RBI double. You needed a hit, and you got one from the catcher.
And, I mean, it's a pinch hitter right there. It's 3 doubles now against this Strasburg team. Taveras loves to play against the purple, comes through in the clutch. And just down the right field line, and it was overran by Osting out there in the right field corner that allowed Genuine to come around to score. Osting had to retreat to go back to the fence to cut that one off and peel it off the fence, and now Taveras is the go-ahead run on second.
So here is Perry Hargett, who takes one in on the hands as the curveball spun out of the right hand of Bud. Hargett in a huge spot. He knocked in an RBI on a single in the 7th. Time is called here as Taveras is going to get pinch ran for by Anderson French. So catcher switching for catcher in this one as the Tom Sox are pulling out all the stops here, trying to get this go-ahead run across here in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, you get more speed in French, and he was going to come in defensively most likely anyways. With Lee Sowers coming out from the second base spot, Taveras not a second baseman, but Anderson French can come in, play first base. You slide Hudson Luderman over to second, and he was going to come in defensively anyways. You might as well put his speed on the bases. He's got more wheels than Taveras does.
So here's Hargett in a 1-0 count with 2 outs. He swings and fouls it straight back. But you go back to that previous at-bat. Evan Taveras, who swung cleanly through the fastball, he caught up to it. Not totally, as he didn't pull it, but he sent it down the right field line enough to where Austin couldn't make the play. And that's where this game stands, tied at 7. Inside on the curveball to Hargett. It's 2 balls, 1 strike here with French in scoring position.
And if you would have told me that that hit right there from Evan Taveras would have been the first extra base hit of this game, I would have called you crazy before this game started.
2-1 count, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Hargett swings and misses. There was Kyle Langley's double, although that was on a kind of a wonky play and arguably could have been ruled an error.
Yeah.
But 2 extra base hits in this game, both by the Tom Sox. 2-2 count, 2 outs. Runner on second. Here's the pitch to Hargett. Swinging a ground ball, gloved by Budd. He will underhand flip it over to first to end the inning. But the Tom Sox show the adversity. Evan Taveras ties the game with a 2-run double. We're heading to the 9th, 7-7 in Game 2 of the Chip. The 9th inning is upon us here, and it's all tied up at 7. Of course this game was going to be close. What else did you think?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have expected anything less. The Sox had to strike back and did it in emphatic fashion off the bat of Taveras.
Ian White remains in the game. The first pitch misses way outside to Logan Duff.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk about White as well. He's finally making his second appearance here in the playoffs. Pitched as well in Stanton alongside Nico Jansen's in a 1-0 this year with an ERA under 1.5 and 7 appearances this season.
Here's the 1-0 from White to Duff. Swung on and missed on the fastball.
And you're going to get a 2-pitch mix from Ian White. It's going to be a low 90s fastball and probably the most aggressive breaking slider you're going to see here. It's more aggressive than anybody else's I've seen here in the VBL.
Should have seen our analytics team when he first joined the team. The RPMs were in the 3,000s. As there's the slider right there, nicks the inside corner,
yeah,
and it's 1-2.
And another great thing to keep up on with the fact that Perriman's now behind the plate following the injury to Rashlo Schultheis. I wouldn't call that the great thing, but the interesting part is you get a brand new strike zone to work with and a brand new set of, how he sets up pitch by pitch, and that really has a big impact on this game.
1-2. Here's a line drive into left field. Genuine's got to come in, and he will not make the catch. It's a leadoff single here for the Express. And Duff is aboard here to lead off the 9th.
Good piece of hitting right there from Logan Duff. Picked up his second hit of the game, and he's been on base 3 times now, too.
So here comes Brooks Henderson, who has 2 strikeouts and an RBI single on the day. For at-bat number 5 here. Double play depth for the middle infield as White comes set. Here's the first pitch. He lays down a bunt. It goes foul. Credit to the fans here from both teams who have turned out for this one. This is a game that started nearly 4 hours ago. And here we are in the top of the 9th in what has been a treat for everyone watching this one. Here's the 0-1. He squares again. This one is fair. Coming off the first base bag is French to get the throw to Luderman for 1 out.
Yeah, your stereotypical 3-4 putout right there. And, you know, good technical base running, or good technical baseball by both sides. You lay down a good bunt, and then you move them over successfully, get the out. So a single gets the run in with the top of the order up, and it's a very scary top of the order here.
So now Brady Bowles here with the go-ahead run in scoring position. Ian White responsible for holding off Duff over at second. He's got to go through the top of the order. He looks back at second, kicks and fires. Outside, ball one. White, a guy who pitched a decent amount at Eastern Carolina, now is scheduled to transfer to Indiana for the following spring.
Yeah, we get to hang out with him in the Big Ten.
Exactly, a Terp and a Nittany Lion on the call. Here's the 1-0 from Ian. Slider at the top of the zone for strike one.
And I think the great part about White's slider is he has the ability to kind of tone it down like that, where it works more like a cutter, doesn't break just as much, and then when he wants to get you with it on a strikeout, he cuts it a lot harder, breaks it a lot more, and it just dips its way out of the zone super late.
White takes a deep breath and another look at second. He deals on a 1-1. Slider at the knees for strike two.
And there's the new zone right there. That's probably not a strike with Rochelo Schultheis. That inside pitch, especially on the breakers, was not getting called all game long. And you take advantage of Perriman's strike zone right here. Ian White's doing a good job.
1-2 count, one out. White versus Bowles. Here's the pitch. He waits on the slider and fouls it away.
That foul ball was brought to you by Taylor's Auto Body.
The shortstop for the Express in this game started off with a ground out and then an RBI single. Since then, 2 strikeouts and a line out. That was the line out that took place last inning. That was a disputed call by the Express, but the umpires ruled it a catch into the glove of Perry Hargett. Now he waits on a 1-2. Swing and a miss. He chased the slider. There's 2 away, and White picks up strikeout number 1.
And it's just so disgusting. You could see Bowles sitting there adjusting to it, thinking that it was going to miss the outside corner, thought it was going to be close, and then chased it, and that thing was 7 inches outside the strike zone. It's a complete wiffle ball pitch out there from Ian White, and it's so effective. It's such a great pitch. And you see it get to work again right there.
Time is called here as they're going to walk Osting to deal with Castillo. So Randy Tomlin avoiding the switch hitter here, and will play the matchup.
Yeah, you play the matchup, and you also kind of just play the fact that Castillo has yet to, pick up a base hit today. He's reached base 3 times via the walk. Osting, on the other hand, has had a good day all across the board.
First pitch from White to Castillo. Just inside for ball 1.
I will say he's got to hold Duff on a little bit better at second. He's got a pretty lengthy lead out there, and he's getting pretty deep to round out his angle around third. Just maybe keep an eye on him a little bit.
He does take a look back, an extended one at that, and fires on a 1-0. Up and in, 2 balls, no strikes. Castillo in this game has 3 walks, a strikeout, and a ground out to third. And here he steps up in a 7-7 ball game in the top of the 9th. White takes a deep breath and deals on a 2-0. Inside for ball 3. Matthew Pierman not biting on that one. 3 balls, no strikes here with Landon Beaver lurking on deck.
Yeah, felt like almost a bit of a lean-in on that one. Castillo made that thing pretty close.
A deep breath from White, and he fires. That's right over the middle for strike 1. So he's back in it. This inning started with the leadoff single from Duff, then a sac bunt from Henderson, a strikeout from Bowles, and an intentional walk issued to Paul Osting. Now Eduardo Castillo at the plate with a 3-1 count and 2 outs. White kicks and fires. Strike 2 on the slider, and the runners will be on the move here. He got the call from Pierman at the top of the zone. 7-7 ball game here, 3-2, 2 outs. White versus Castillo. The right-hander comes set, looks in. Takes a deep breath, kicks and fires. He got him! Strike 3 called. Castillo is rung up, and we're going to the bottom of the 9th. The Tom Sox will try to win it and send the series back to Strasburg on the other side of the break. Well, it all comes down to this. Bottom of the 9th here in Game 2 of the Valley Lake Championship Series. Things all tied up at 7. 2-3-4 due up. Kyle Langley, Jackson Soroy, Brock Clayton, as the Tom Sox just need 1 run to send this series to a Game 3. Here's the pitch to Kyle. Here's a swing and a drive into left center field. Douglas near it. It will be caught on the run. My, oh my, he has made some fantastic plays in this game. He shows off the wheels and robs Langley of a leadoff hit.
Yeah, I mean, with anybody else in center field besides maybe even Kyle Langley, that's a gapper. And he just flew across the outfield right there. He was gliding through the grass. And just a phenomenal angle, a phenomenal play right there from Jay Douglas for out number 1.
That brings Jackson Soroy to the plate here with 1 out. Here's the first pitch to him, a swing and a line drive into right field. That's a base hit. Soroy with his second hit of the game. He's going to try to go for 2. The throw in is not in time. It was misplayed by Osting, and Soroy has a single, and he advances on the throw, and now the tying or the game-winning run is in scoring position.
And that's back-to-back at-bats where the Sox jump on the first pitch they see Bud. They've got it now. They understand. They understand it now. The Sox understand it now. There's been enough conversation in the bullpen before last inning. They're gonna put Brock Clayton on base to face Patrick Nias, and I wouldn't recommend doing that. I wouldn't recommend putting this power at the plate, but that's the decision they're going with. It's a smart baseball play to make, realistically, regardless of who's at the plate. But they're on him. That's two consecutive batters who jumped on the first pitch. Soroy into right field, and now he's 180 feet away.
And now it's Patrick Nias with Jackson Soroy in scoring position. You do have to worry about the ground ball with Clayton on first. As the first pitch to Nias is swung on and missed. Good run on that fastball out of the right hand of Bud. The Sox have scored 5 runs in the last 3 innings here. What is in store here for the 9th? Started with the line out, then a Jackson Soroy single, then an intentional walk. Here's the 0-1 to Nias. Inside on the slider, 1-1. Should they be needed, Hudson Luderman on deck, followed by the designated hitter Tanner Shadle. But now it's the third baseman, Patrick Nias, with a chance to be a hero. Here's the 1-1. Below the zone, 2-1. That ball didn't miss by much, but a stone-cold take from Nias.
He's locked in. That's plate discipline that you love to see from Patrick Nias at the plate.
2-1 with 1 out. Here's the pitch from Bud. Swinging a little bit of a tapper in front of the plate. Bud misplays it, and everybody's safe. The bases are loaded as Patrick Nias reaches on a single, and it's Hudson Luderman with the winning run 90 feet away.
Put it in play and see what happens. It's worked all season long for the Sox. Goes again right here, and we're going to get a little conversation on the mound.
What an inning this has been. I mean, that ball was going to be a tough play. You could tell Bud was thinking about trying to get Jackson Soroy at third, but he just couldn't even put the ball in his right hand. And that's where we stand. The bases are loaded here. Nias is on first, Clayton on second, Jackson Soroy on third. And now Hudson Luderman at the plate. Luderman, who tied the game yesterday with a single, or 2 days ago, I should say, with an RBI single. What a spot this is for the Tom Sox.
Yeah, no better moment than this one. Right here for Hudson Luderman. Infield comes in. All the opportunity right here for Huddy.
The infield is in. Luderman with the bases loaded and a chance to send the Tom Sox back to Strasburg. Matthew Pearman says play. The infield moves in. He comes set. Here we go. First pitch. Luderman takes outside, ball 1. Huddy in this game singled in the 8th and in the 2nd. He's in need of another hit here in a 7-7 game. Here's the 1-0. Luderman with a swing and a drive into center field. Douglas makes the catch. Here comes Soroy, the throw home. Hudson Luderman sends us to a Game 3. Cool as you like. And the Hokie wins Game 2. Randy Tomlin throws his hat. Pack your bags. We're going back to Strasburg.
And it couldn't have ended it any other way. And it couldn't have even been a close play at the plate. Douglas with a great throw home, and it's not in time. The Sox keep rolling. There's no lead, no deficit too big for Charlottesville. Nothing they can't come back from. The umpire comes out of the game. They put 2 runs right back up on the board. And it's relentless from this team. The grit, the passion, and just the desire to come out here and win this game. It shows up in the big moments, and it showed up tonight.
Hudson Luderman, a guy who had 2 sacrifice flies in that playoff game versus Stanton just a couple of days ago, now gets the biggest one of the season and will send us to a Game 3 tomorrow at First Bank Park. Just when you think the Tom Sox are out of it, they never are. And they continue to fight here until the ultimate prize awaits tomorrow. A date with Strasburg, this time for all the marbles.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to tomorrow, and I wouldn't have it any other way, Daniel. I wouldn't have it come down to anything other than a winner-takes-all game tomorrow night in Strasburg.
So thank you to everyone who tuned in for a nearly 4-hour game. It started at 7. It ends at 10:58, and it ends happy here at the show as Charlottesville wins it 8-7. Hudson Luderman, the hero. Once again, thank you to everyone who joined. For my partner, Jeremy Rose, I'm Daniel Stein saying good night from the show. Final score, 8-7. Charlottesville forces a Game 3.